long I last.
All right, here we go. I'm going to hit record and get cranking here. All right, here we go. In 3, 2, 1.
Just squish my head like a grape with your gun. Please, just pop me. Come on.
Whoa, Jesus! I wasn't sure if you were gonna actually kill him.
Good evening and welcome to Core. This is Core for Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. I'm Scott Johnson with Bo Schwartz and John Jagger. We're here to talk about the video games as we hurtle toward the end of 2022. I'm excited to do that. I wanted to catch you guys up real quick before we get into our main topic that my Steam Deck made it back already. And that that seems crazy, right? You hear that and you go, wait, didn't you just send it last week? I did. And I thought, no way I get this before the first. Yeah, it's only been a week. I sent it right before we had a show last week. And
that's like unparalleled levels of... Is the station near you?
So herein lies the rub. So I get the... so I sent it out last week. I didn't have an ETA. They just said it could take 3 to 5 days to evaluate and then repair. So that part was already happening faster, and I got notes that, hey, we received it. We're doing what we thought we were going to do. That is they're going to replace both sticks, not just the one, just because they like a nice matching pair or whatever. And then do some testing, make sure everything's seated right and all done and all that. And so I got that kind of information from the update. Then that finished, and I thought, well, all right, I guess I'll see this around the 1st. And I've kind of put it out of my head, like, I'm not going to get excited. It's not coming before Christmas. I'll have other things to do. And yesterday... I get a notice in the morning on the same support ticket saying, we've shipped your device and you'll see it. And I went, I'll probably get it. I mean, maybe before Christmas, but with the way shipping is, I'll bet it's the week of the 1st or right before the 1st or something. So I was like, that's really exciting. An hour later, it's on my doorstep. And I'm like, how the frick did that magic happen? Did a little digging. The repair centers...
Lives next door to Gabe Newell.
That'd be cool. The repair center that they contract for these kinds of repairs is right here in town. It's in Salt Lake City. And I had no idea. Geez. So they literally just put it in UPS or Fed or whatever, and the truck put it in and drove to my house. Like, just brought it to the thing. So it was nuts. It was insane how quickly it got back here, and I was like a little bit freaked out. Anyway, they did an amazing job. It's all good, nice, tight, and well done. It's the same unit because I have a little Sharpie tick on the back. Some people are like, "Are you sure it's still yours?" I'm like, yeah, it's still there.
Well, you still have your games installed. It's not like you're gonna.
I had to. Part of the rules are you have not rules, but they're when they tell you to package it up and send it, they tell you to factory reset the thing.
Oh, so they don't have to see your waifu fighter installed
maybe.
And stuff like that.
I don't know.
Like,
I didn't think of that.
To keep the workplace like.
I didn't think
Imagine being in a Steam Deck repair center and every game it's like sticky and there's waifu puzzle hentai battler.
Like, that new Hitler Sex 2 or whatever it is, Sex with Hitler 2.
Factory resetting isn't going to clean it.
No, but again, you have plausible deniability. Maybe they like cinnamon rolls in the morning.
This is an argument for Steam to keep these kinds of games off their platform for the sake of their repairmen.
Yeah, it kind of is. But the reason they told me, they actually had an explanation for it. They were like, we need it in its closest to factory condition because that's the baseline on which they do repairs. So they don't want to, if you got a bunch of mods installed or you did some weird stuff in desktop mode, which I have for emulation and a bunch of old Genesis and Super Nintendo stuff, which is a pain because I got to do it all over again. But anyway... Reinstalling games, no big deal. Steam games, piece of cake. That's fine, just time. But the other stuff, I got to go tweak again. But they just put out a big update today that's supposed to make some of that easier. So anyway, long and the short of it, I am thrilled with how fast it went, how well it went, and that they covered it. And here's the fun twist. It was already a fun twist that it was local, right? That's fun.
Yeah.
But my daughter in Iceland calls me, or she's texted me while I'm in the middle of the show a few days ago. Dad, I need you to call me as soon as you can. I'm like, what is wrong? What's going on? She's in Iceland. I can't help her. Oh, no. I didn't know what it was. I call her and she goes, I think I broke my Steam Deck. And I go,
oh, no.
Because she had one too before she left. And I said, well, what'd you do? And she goes, I thought I pulled the wrong or a different cable, but it was the power cable to it, and it slid off of her desk. And where she's staying in these like dorms things, the floors are cement, so it tipped over, spam, and shattered the LCD. So it's all just like jiggly jag lines and off color everything. And,
no!
And so I said they just let this 2000 game library whale off the hook.
Bragging to your daughter?
No, I said it wasn't even bragging. I said
okay.
They fixed the thing I broke that they didn't have to. So maybe they'll do yours. Maybe they're just in that mood as a company to just take care of stuff. Yeah. So I said, let them know. Be really, nice in the way you tell them what happened, and I'll explain it all.
When you write your email, say it's Carter Johnson, daughter
no.
of Scott Johnson.
I don't think that would have mattered.
6 million Steam games.
Yeah. She should have said, you just did this for my dad, so maybe you'll do it for me. She didn't do that. Anyway, they wrote back and said, yeah, that's like $100 repair. So she didn't get the good treatment.
Is shipping or, well, it's the screen crack. I can see that cost.
Yeah, it's about $100. And now that we know that they do it here, though, we're going to actually, because she can't ship it in Iceland anyway, so she'll fly it home.
It'd be expensive.
And she may go down there and just see if they let you do it in some other local way. And then just pay him here and not ship it, back to wherever.
You know a guy who knows how to fix Steam Decks?
I mean, CCP is there. Maybe they got some tech people. They got tech people.
They do.
What's that Steam Decks?
She met with them. She had a meeting with them.
Maybe she could just knock on the door and be like, I'm not here to bother you guys. Just I broke my Steam Deck, and where in the name of Iceland do you...
Yeah.
Can I get help? That'd be a good place to start.
And they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you the first time. I'm busy with this spreadsheet, aka our video game, because it's like a spreadsheet, right? Because it's how Eve is, it's like a spreadsheet."
Yep. Anyway, right.
That was just a little shade at the game.
In spite of us not playing Eve Online, I think, and this predates me and John doing podcasts with you. You have had nothing but favorable things to say about EVE Online in spite of its spreadsheetiness. You're just like, it's awesome. Like,
it's beautiful.
It's great.
Yeah.
So she should go in it and say, it is I, Carter, son of Scott Johnson, and I require information. And maybe they'd stop. They'd be like, oh, yeah, they're nice. They're nice to us.
Maybe. I who knows? But she's feeling like none of that's going to happen. She's only got 2 more weeks, so she'll be home. And she has COVID, so... It's a good time in Iceland.
No.
Yeah, that's the worst thing. She breaks it. Next day, it comes down with COVID. Turns out has a COVID case like I did, like a gnarly one.
Oh, geez.
And so she's still like kind of a wreck about it, but she can't play any games. She didn't bring her Switch because she thought, well, I've got my Steam Deck. I don't need my Switch on this trip. I'm bringing the big boy. All right?
Oh, boy.
Nope.
That's rough.
All she has is her phone, and I thought of John. What a nightmare scenario that would be for John. John, I'm sorry. For 2 weeks, you're going to have to stay quarantined. Your console's broken. Here's this phone. Play video games on this phone.
In a post Marvel Snap world, I'd be okay.
You'd be all right? Okay.
Yeah.
You'd get through
I
it.
played a lot of Marvel Snap recently, but
yeah. We need to talk about Bo's state of Marvel Snap because this morning Brian Ibbett says to me, he says, I should talk to Bo. Maybe we should do like a Marvel Snap show or a mini series. I said, I think he might be on the waning end of that teat. I don't think he's as into it as he was.
I mean, I still play it. Look, I'm a bit of a. It's hard. It's rare when I'm just an unabashed fanboy of something, and yeah, Snap has been frustrating me lately.
Really? Is it the Ding Desert or something else?
Well, it's the constant need to have shiny borders and to have that conversation with myself that I need my money. Like I'd like to save it for things in life.
Yeah.
And I don't need shiny borders on cards. And I get tired of having that conversation with myself because it's a very real pull for me.
Yeah.
I have a
I'm in the same boat. I
kind of
almost bought Rogue JPEGs. I was like, I've been playing Rogue recently. I should have a cool store-bought Rogue icon is what I need.
Yeah. Like some people are like
$50, please.
Some people are like if you just play the game, you'll eventually earn the stuff. But I have like an instant gratification problem. It's like, yeah, but I can blow my money and get it now when I want it.
Yeah.
And I've had all my life trouble with stuff like that. So it's irritating me that way. And then I find I have just game balance issues with the game now. Now that I'm in Pool 3, and that the deeper collection level you go, the deeper collection level of your opponents.
Yeah.
And I'm finding the game's just way too GD random. Like
there are times a day and night where I don't feel like you can play Marvel Snap if you want to win. if you play that game right when the new quests come online, you are going to go up against all the tryhards that are just like, new quest, log in.
Yeah.
Here's my Omega deck that is just insane and does crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
And you just get blown out of the water. And sadly, as somebody who has a baby and has to stay up for baby stuff, or has also been sick and, can't fall asleep, really late at night, another terrible time to play Marvel Snap. I've never encountered more, like, I was playing a deck that I had damn near 100% win rate on. Every game I played, I was winning. I was like, goodness, have I accidentally created the best Marvel Snap deck? Am I that secretly smart and perfect at this game? I guess I am. And then I made the mistake of playing it at like midnight, 1 a.m. my time.
Ooh,
And I
that's-
lost. I think I lost like 15 games in a row before I was like, okay, maybe I'm done with this game forever. I don't know.
that's when the hardcore play. It's when the whales play. Is at night.
Yeah, it's there are times I just don't go near that game. But then there are other times you go, same exact deck, and it just stomps everything.
Yeah.
It's like, yep, okay.
I think that's it. Reminds me of when I was playing Hearthstone or even like Heroes of the Storm. When we play together, that was different. But if I was on my own solo queuing, if I was doing it at night, freaking forget it. It was bad. I'd have a terrible time. Overwatch as well. I just get whooped at night. Play it in the daytime. I mean, it just means that I'm not as good as those people, obviously. But that's all they're doing is playing that.
Everyone's also tired. They're not playing their best.
Yeah.
It's,
I definitely
for
feel
me,
that.
it's more the 4 a.m, 5 a.m. games, competitive games.
Oh my gosh.
You know.
I cannot remember the last time I stayed up that late. I should do it once just to see if I'm still capable of it. You know?
I do it all the time. It's terrible. Don't do it.
I mean, it's not good as a regular thing. I know that. But if I just one night, like Christmas Eve, I'll stay up till 5. Who's that going to hurt? Nobody.
I
You know?
find that
You.
like,
It'll
no,
hurt
I
you.
find that most people are just, they can't do it. They have to go to sleep. I
definitely
I
feel
have, I have
So-
some sort of circadian dysfunction where like, I just will, if I didn't have obligations, I would definitely be like a night shift person. I would go to bed at 8 in the morning and wake up at 4 or 5. I would gladly do that.
Damn.
I'm a night owl. I prefer to be up at night. But in order to have a job, they generally tend to be during the day.
Yeah, they usually, generally speaking, you can get night shifts on certain things, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know I'm a night owl, but yeah, I think I think no matter the time of day, I just feel like as I get deeper and deeper into Snap,
Yeah.
it's just too random because I try to study on meta decks. Like I'm pretty competitive. I do try to, but then people don't have all the cards or they're trying to be cute and they don't play what you'd expect. Like when you play Magic or Hearthstone, you can narrow the pool of possibilities based on what class they are or what colors of mana they're playing. A lot of these competitive things are kind of your range of expectation is manageable. And I found that in Pool 2 it was like that. I like understood the deck archetypes. There weren't very many. Now it's just so random. It's just not fun. It just feels like people throwing cards on a table and just see what happens. And I'm starting to like not like the game that much, even from that perspective. So
Sure.
yeah.
Well, these things have cycles to them, and
Yep.
this one may have reached it, at least for now, but we'll talk more about
I
it.
still
when
play
we-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
I'm
course. Still playing.
If I'm on the toilet and I can play a game, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, what else
That's
are you
actually
gonna
my
play?
tag too. It says Gorath. I am on the toilet right now.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
You're facing me, and it says I'm on the toilet right now. I'm probably on the toilet.
Great.
Mine, because it's the best title I've gotten so far, is 90s was the best decade. That's what I've got
Wow.
for mine.
It was a pretty
So,
good decade. I love
Craftless
the 90s.
Rogue, 90s was the best decade. That's me.
The 80s and 90s are my favorite decades ever because I was young and didn't know that the world was stupid yet. So I really enjoyed them. They were good. The 90s in particular was a great time. So take that, universe. It's time for us to talk about this, though. So this is a little bit weird because I don't think we talked about it. I think it happened right after the show, maybe Friday, but it was made official. Did we talk about the Metzen stuff?
Yeah, that
We
was our
did.
main topic last week.
Oh, okay. So I can't remember when that happened. Did it happen that day? Oh, it did happen that day. That's
It
what
happened
that's
that
what it
day,
was.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, with Metzen coming back, I get it's all messed up in my head because I've been talking to him too, and he's currently way into Dragonflight, like way into it, and keeps asking me where I am. I'm like, I'm hanging out with the Tuscars right now. He's like, oh, that was great way back then. So he's way ahead of me, but Anyway, he's obviously very stoked about the game again, and that's exciting. With him coming back, now we have BlizzCon coming back. Ooh, this was announced yesterday. Sort of. Okay, so Ybarra, or whatever his name is that his name? Ybarra.
Yeah, Mike Ybarra.
Mike Ybarra. He did a post.
Mike Ybarra.
The bear. Does he shit in the woods? Anyway, pre-show. He basically just dropped a big post about all the cool stuff that they got going on. Hey, Overwatch had this many millions of people and concurrent players on the WoW launch and blah, 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 all this stuff. So it's just like a big puff piece. But nestled down in there was a note about the woman whose name is McKee, I believe. It's very close to McCree. Might have to call her Cassidy soon. I'm just kidding. I'm making that up.
McKee?
It's like McKee, I think is her last name. It's like McCree, but without the R. Anyway,
in which game? In Overwatch?
no, she's the one in charge of BlizzCon. Yeah, she's head of events or whatever it is. Anyway, she said, and I could probably pull it up and look at it, but she said, or part of the mention of her was, and BlizzCon's back. That's all they said. Yeah. In 2023, BlizzCon is back. I assume that means sometime in the fall. There's a 3-day event, 2-day event, I guess is what it really is. And that's what they're getting back to, and it's entirely possible. So my question is, with Metzen coming back and BlizzCon coming back after a 3-year hiatus, they had the digital thing that doesn't count as much. Is Blizzard coming back? You know what I mean? It's kind of an esoteric question, but is this, they're having some positive vibe with a very successful launch and players being very happy so far anyway with Dragonflight. Overwatch 2 is got great numbers and they're kicking butt over there. It seem to be doing just great. And what's the other? And then Diablo Diablo 4 getting a release date, and really positive buzz from the preview play that everybody got to do. A bunch of people got to do. I shouldn't say everybody. It seems like it's a moment. They're having a moment. I'm not saying
not everyone got to play Diablo 4. Let's just be real clear.
Passionate Blizzard fans that may or may not be doing podcasts did not participate in
Some people tried it. Other people didn't try it.
No. I mean, I wanted to, but I used to have somebody on that team that I knew well, but he's gone, and I don't know who's there now. So we didn't. Podcasters, like streamers, got all the love. That basically is what we're saying. YouTubers and streamers. That's what happened. And that's fine.
Some news outlets too.
Yeah, and some news. You're right. Big news outlets and popular influencers, but it was pretty unanimous. Everybody really lost their mind over the game. So there's all this positive.
Who does the Diablo show he didn't get.
No, the Diablo show, which
okay, we're gonna stop.
Maybe if I'd have started it
from the Diablo show also didn't get to try it.
Oh man, that's a shame. So
right,
because of all that, do you think this is a sign that Blizzard is having? The other thing he outlined was a bunch of like cultural stuff. Like, here's what we've done to change these things. We're also doing the women's coding something, like a bunch of initiatives. Like, it sounded like this was them saying, here's all the progress we've made. And by all accounts, there has been progress that has been made. You hear about it internally. The Activision acquisition, which may or may not happen still, is still like a thing that excites them. All that. Do you guys think this is a meaningful corner that Blizzard's about to take? Or is it just PR and we're just,
I think there's always going to be haters. So that energy there's going to be some percentage of that energy going in and throughout all of this. So there's that.
Yeah. Do you both think that? Do they didn't talk about the survival game in this post, but we got to be starting to hear something about that. So there's like other stuff on the horizon that isn't even just the normal IPs. Like,
they haven't done one for a few years. I think we speculated whether they'd even need to do another one. Why not just do Nintendo Directs? Maybe that era is over. Glad to see it's not.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna, if they have a new leader. He's been there for a little while. There was some problems with that where they had co-leadership for a little while, but time heals all wounds. Maybe,
some wounds
with a bit of time. Well, there's a lot of people playing their products still, right? Diablo Immortal earning $2 million a week. That's not an indication that the company has a significant life-threatening, like the company ending problem. It's got culture to shift. It's still going to be a big corporate place, and still going to need to have rules and all that stuff. And they're still doing the union, and who knows, is Microsoft going to own it? People have responded, whether it's true or not. I feel like is beside the point. People like that Microsoft's going to buy it and get rid of Kotick. Like that's always Kotick's always the fly in the ointment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just from a PR perspective, like nobody's swinging for him.
Yeah,
at all.
I don't think so. I don't know anybody who's pro Kotick except, I don't know, people who golf with him and have as much money as he does and don't care. I don't know. I don't know who likes Kotick. It ain't.
But with the sale, I mean, who knows what that looks like? Maybe he's got to retire sometime. Maybe that the stewardship of everything gets transferred. I think we're like in a change point. I don't know if that's not a great way of saying it, but like I think there's a lot of transition that's still happening and is happening.
Does feel like some positive momentum though, don't you think? At least on the Blizzard side. The Activision side also doing pretty well right now. This new version of Call of Duty is one of the best selling they've ever done, and Warzone 2 is like a legitimate monster hit and reviews well, and people like it. Like they're all on a bit of they're all having a moment. I don't know what else Activision's doing, but that's
Yeah, I guess
there's what is it? The COO left to go be part of the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT business.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So that happened.
I don't know. That seemed like a weird move.
That's a positive. We got rid of that dipshit.
Well, that's true, but it also seems like the weirdest move.
There's a win.
Doesn't that seem like a weird move though? Like, hey,
yes, it's a weird move.
You know how the Bored Ape thing crashed? You want to go run that?
It's like blockchain and NFTs are not weird for game devs. Think of all the number of Riot got into it. They're trying to get out of it because the FTX. We don't really talk about that side of the news, but that FTX went belly up. I think these companies are very large and they're full of people with different agendas, and money people are in there. And if they form a coalition inside the company, then that initiative gets undertaken. And I think every big game development company has people like that. Yep. And like it's like an infection. It's like the pandemic of game companies. Kind of like, oh, you caught FTX. Sorry, buddy.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like it's like, so those people are going to be present even if we don't hear about them. There's still, but I think they formed enough of a coalition of believers that it's become a big force.
Yeah. But
I think like overall from the big corporation, think of anyone, they're not all going to be perfect. There's like evil and bad stuff that they've done in a lot of their histories. It's never perfect. I believe in like Blizzard's quality of product is still there. I don't think Chris Metzen would have gone back to put his name on something terrible or just to be,
I know we wouldn't. Yeah.
Just to be like a
guaranteed.
Like a Ronald McDonald nice face on a terrible corporate, he's going there's a fulfillment there. There's an arc there. There's maybe even a lot of his themes and his work are about redemption. This is almost like redeeming the Blizzard. Like think about it. You spend your life at a company, you think it's going one way, it goes another way, and people have chosen you as not a real like maybe leader, because he's not going to be CEO, but as a spiritual leader.
Yeah.
And you come back and try to do the redemption thing a little bit to do your part to carry the business forward. Just thinking about your interviews with Metzen and how he thinks about these things.
Yeah.
I bet you there's an interest in making things right and setting everything on a better course.
I think so too. Yeah.
Letting it go.
Yeah.
And like that's powerful. And I think we are feeling some positive momentum. I myself just want to talk about how I feel. I'm stoked for D4. D4 will be out, and we'll see how we feel about the game. But I am looking. This is the only sort of thing that I leave the country for. So, like, on the basis of seeing Scott and John and, Monica, maybe you'll be there, and Garrett and Kyle and Kristen and all the great people. Like, I'm just sort of stoked to go to the event. So I'm, like, inclined to feel favorably about, all right, stop the harassment, get rid of those buttholes, make some good policies in place to police your people. And let's play some video games and have some fun. I want to like your games.
Yeah.
And also bring back Heroes of the Storm while you're at it. If,
Yeah.
with all that Diablo 4 money, give it another crack at Heroes of the Storm for those of us who really, really liked that game.
Yeah, you need to launch.
You
You got to launch Rathma and his mom And I can't think of her name all of a sudden. What's wrong with me? Who's the queen? Who's the big lady he brought back? What's her name?
Who?
Diablo 4, the lady.
Oh, Lilith.
Lilith. Gosh dang it, dude. Freaking jeez Louise. If I had been playing...
Okay, I was going to guess that.
Play Marvel Midnight
I
Sun,
know.
Scott, you would know that she's the antagonist of many video games
I know.
right now.
I was just thinking that, too.
It threw me with the Rathma comment, because I'm like, who's...
Is it Rathma? Rathma.
Who's
I talked about it on the
Rathma?
last show. He's the... Okay, so the theory is... This is currently
Are you
just a
talking
theory.
about Anarius?
No. I know about him.
Okay.
So I did a little hunting around, and because I did last episode, I did the Diablo show. It was all about Anarius, his origins, where he is now, and why we haven't seen him, and all this stuff. And I'd forgotten that in the 5th act, which was part of the expansion for 3, there's a bunch of his diaries that got found. So you'd walk around and knock it out of a thing and listen to it. So he tells you a bunch of shit about who he is and what his deal was. But him and Lilith are, they were lovers.
They boned.
Long story short,
made us.
Exactly. They made the Nephilim, and the first generation of Nephilim are really powerful, OP as hell. And one of them is Rathma, not Rathma. What's his name? Shit. Anyway, whatever it is, her son, the first of the necromancers, basically, is supposedly the dude in the reveal trailer who brings her back, and that's why he keeps calling her mother. So there's a whole thing there. Oh, I'm so excited about that stuff. I can't wait. I can't freaking wait.
It's going to be good, man. Like everything about the trailers.
I know.
I keep thinking about that sound Anarius makes when he brings the light. It just goes boom.
Oh, I know, dude. Or when his wings hit the ground to like anchor him.
Yeah.
Freaking
badass. The way the
badass.
light hits everything.
Yeah. It's a different voice actor, though. I figured, well, I haven't seen the name, but he's a lot more, Lilith and I, we met each other during this thing, and we had these children, see? And he's a little bit more, I don't know, he's a little too jolly. Whereas in that trailer...
Let me tell you about the time I met your mother. Man, was she a look. Peeled the flesh right off a man. Never seen somebody do it quite the way she did it.
Pretty sure it's Rathma. Chat's giving me a hard time, but I think I got it right. Anyway, not Mothra, chat. Let's move on to the survival game that they're making. It doubled in size. That's the other little bit of news that came out.
Yeah.
What does that mean? One person, now it's 2? I mean, what kind of double are we talking about?
No, because this has been in development for a while. Remember, the announcement was a big deal.
You've doubled to 2 people.
2 people. Exponential.
I can't
growth.
imagine it's 2 people. I mean, it's a company with a lot of people.
Ideasman and a yesman to go along with.
We sort of know Diablo 4's got the full attention of the company.
Yeah.
World of Warcraft probably has its team size rather set, because it's consistently delivering products over a 2-year cycle.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't imagine that team shrinks and expands with any great frequency, or they might still have a lot of churn, but
right.
The team size probably doesn't change all that dramatically. Like build it, ship it, and then fire everyone kind of scenario.
Sure.
So I'm guessing maybe Diablo 4 is hitting the late innings, so people who would be early in the development process are working on the survival game. Seems next. It seems like to me, BlizzCon is here's all our great games that you're enjoying, plus here's some survival game news. And Warcraft, Arclight, Rumble, like those are the 2.
Oh, we have a listener. It is Rathma. I just confirmed it. Sorry, I was thinking I screwed up because I have this whole show about Diablo and I thought I effed it up, but I didn't. It's Rathma, gosh dang it. Anyway, we have a listener. Tweep has got his hands on that Arclight Rumble thing.
He does?
He does. So there's a beta,
Whoa.
and I don't know if it's Canadian or what the deal is, but he has it on.
Well, I'm in Canada. Shit.
He has it on Android. His comment was that it was, and there's no NDA. It's just you just apply for the beta and you're in or you're not. His comment is that it, at this stage anyway, wasn't blowing his mind. It just sort of played like Crash Royale, which we all know is sort of based on that gameplay, and that the collecting of characters and stuff is kind of what you expect from a gacha game, and didn't have much else to say than that, I guess. But it's basically just like, yeah, it's not really grabbing me. It's not like the next wave of awesome mobile content. So that made me a little nervous, but I don't know. Blizzard's known for having less than amazing early looks at things, and then things come together toward the end. So who knows? But
Tough to say. Tough to say.
yeah. Did you know Mephisto is Lilith's dad? The primeval of hate. Did you know that? Did you?
No.
No.
I mean, it's the kind of thing where I feel like I knew it, but then I don't remember it.
Mephisto.
He was a real pisser, as we know, and she left or rebelled against him because she was sick of getting pushed around, and she also thought the war was unjust. This Angel Inarius believes this. These two, like, hey, we have a common goal here. You're a demon, I'm an angel, but what if we work together to end this unjust war?
You hate war. What if we bumped uglies, man?
Yeah. And then they had Rathma, and he's a dick. So I can't wait for all that to play out. And then WoW has a roadmap. They've never done this before.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I
People
know
have
of.
said they did. I don't think they ever have actually done this before.
I don't
And
remember it.
this is legitimately a huge deal. And I think a lot of people kind of miss what makes a roadmap for WoW such a big deal. This is them coming out and basically taking accountability for what they want to put out in a WoW expansion.
Right.
And they have had expansions that have had a great cadence of, launch content and patches. And they've had some where there were 2 big patches and one of those was a selfie cam.
Yeah.
And that's what they brought to the table. And for a company, we talk a lot about this idea of, well, is it genuinely bad or is it bad because it's Blizzard? One of the things people get mad about with them is they say, Blizzard goes after these, subscribe for a year, give us some money for a year and trust that we'll put out content for you and we'll give you a cool mount.
Mm-hmm.
And people are very critical of that. And, some people try and defend it and they go, other game companies do this sort of thing and it's fine. But to me, doing something like a roadmap, now you have something where they're saying, hold us to this, we're committing that this is our goals, and it's generic. It's not like, next Thursday we're doing this. It's, spring, fall, they're going through seasonally.
Mm-hmm.
But when you sit there and you have your YouTubers or your, reactors or even just casual conversations with people and you go, man, they're not putting anything out for this game. You literally have a metric now that you can look at and go, well, this is when they said we would be getting this. And you can judge them based on that. And you can see whether or not they're meeting that or not. And it also tells you, do you want to stay subbed? Is this an investment you want to keep going? And they've never done that before. This is huge.
Yeah, I think it's big. As someone who, I'll talk more about it later, but I'm kind of all hooked up back into the damn thing for various reasons. But this was exciting to see, even though they kind of, and you alluded to this a little, but they kind of they do a similar structure of released content, but they don't tell us about it like this or this far ahead. Like all the way up to the season 3 10.2 stuff. This is like post, that's about now actually, or a little somewhat into 2024 it'll be. And I'm not used to them doing this. And so you could say, oh, well, it's very general in the summer to say there'll be a new mega dungeon and some new world events added, as well as content and system updates. Like those are very generalized sounding. We don't know the name of the mega dungeon. We don't know what that means or any of that. This is still like far and away. I mean, I just feel like it was always a secret. They're just always working on a thing and then let it out when they felt like it. And this
and you just had to guess, and especially coming off of Shadowlands, where there was such a huge gap. And granted, a lot of that probably had to do with COVID.
Yeah, it did.
And I think it's fair. I think it's fair to cut them a little slack because of COVID. I also think it's fair to say they still took our $15 a month during that time, no problem.
Yeah, they had no
So I
issue
also
with
think
that.
it's fair to criticize them for it. So I think either one of those is fair. I think coming out and saying this is what we plan to do and giving you a roadmap is huge. And while I'm not necessarily all back in on WoW, I think this is really exciting for the people that are. Like, this is the kind of thing they should have been promising to players for a long time.
For years. For 10 years, I'll say. Let's say that. You get away with it for the first 5, but after that, you gotta communicate.
10,000 years.
10,000 years. That's right. All right.
Still got a lot of work to do to
For sure.
reach Mr. O'Brien's light.
You're getting there. Oh, it's time for the Patreon message of the week. We have 3 of them this week because they were all so good today. You guys are killing it. So we're going to read all of these. We'll spend about as much time as we do for one normally on all 3, but we'll do it. Chris J, for example, not my nephew, who's also has that name. He says, I listen to Core on the road, commuting most of the year. If we were in an RV on a road trip, what's the number one console, or what is the one console we would be binging or bringing? I keep saying wrong words, assuming all catalog is available. So what console do we take on that RV road trip with us? If it's us and some listeners. And I think the answer is easy for me, and that's a Series X because of Game Pass. We'll never run out of games
I'm
to play.
surprised you didn't say Steam Deck, honestly.
Oh, I could. Well, I mean, that is a more travelable device. But when you said console, I thought of for whatever reason I thought of that.
Well, I feel like that's something we got to figure out a little bit, right? Like
Yeah.
we're not necessarily taking into account we're going to be in the car. Like we're just saying, what console do you think you're going to get the most mileage out of, right?
Yeah. Yeah. What are you gonna? So if
Can you
the
plug
option,
the Steam Deck into a TV?
oh yeah, you can do
Yeah.
a dock. Yeah.
Oh, then this is easy. I wasn't when we originally sort of fielded this question. I wasn't thinking Steam Deck was going to count because it's a weird Valve thing, and they don't. You don't think of the Steam machine as a console. Like it's think of it as a failed thing. I guess they do have a proper VR space, but yeah, if you can get it into a TV, easy Steam Deck, the biggest library, backwards compatible remasters, new stuff delivered wirelessly.
I bought this I should say it's not really low end, but I bought a $20 version of their $89. Whoops, let me pull the camera up here. There we go. Dock. So the Steam Deck plops into that. You got this little dongle that goes to the power on the thing, and then out the back you can do inputs for a bunch of USBs and
Nice.
out HDMI. So with this, we'd have all we need, I guess.
It's beautiful. I guess the only thing is maybe the Steam Deck isn't as powerful as, say, a PlayStation. Because what I was going to suggest for the answer, sans Steam Deck, was going to be the PlayStation 5.
Sure. I just worried to run out of
Because-
games without Game Pass. That's the only worry I'd have.
Well, we didn't talk about budget, so
Right.
I'm assuming unlimited budget. And
Well, they
PlayStation-
said the entire catalog is available. Literally
Yeah.
every game.
Every
okay,
game
we
they
get
have.
all the games.
But
so
there's
no budgetary consideration.
But so many single player games on the Sony lineup. Not saying they're bad; they're amazing. They're some of the best in the world class. But we wouldn't have a lot of multiplayer fun on the PlayStation.
Again, we don't know who's coming with us. If we were on a road trip, I listen to Core on the road commuting most of the year. If we were on a road trip, who's we?
Us, all of us.
Is it
Us.
Chris and the 3 of us?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's us and Chris.
Let's say it's 4. Yeah, it's 5 people.
I don't really
Wait.
think of multiplayer when I think of
4 people.
Xbox either.
I got the math wrong. That's 4 people. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 4 people. I mean, I think Switch. I don't know. That's tough. I feel like the reason I was going to say PlayStation was just because they probably have the most exciting first-party games or exclusives and stuff, like
For sure.
for a road trip.
Yeah.
But now that if Steam Deck's in the 4A, it's easy. That's easy.
I'd just
It's
bring
just-
my PC. If
Chuck
y'all are
game
into
is
what
on
I'm
Steam.
doing, F y'all, I'll just be
Yeah,
doing my
John
own
will just
thing.
hook it up, have it on the table.
It's
Screw
not
you
a
guys.
console. It is not a console.
That's close enough.
I mean,
It's not a console.
we just call it a PC, but it could be. You could classify it as a.
What even is a PC?
what
Hey, we
even
can
is
get into that
anything?
conversation, but I think in the spirit of what.
All right, if we're talking console, then it would be the Steam Deck. But
Yeah.
if
I
we're
agree.
discounting the Steam Deck for similar reasons, then it would be the Xbox.
There's lots of You can play Fall Guys or that new game. What is it called? Animal Rejects or something like that. That looks sweet.
Oh, that looks good. That's a Game Pass game too.
You know, a Gang Wars thing. I think it feels like it's made by the people who make Gang Wars. Like, what is it? Spaghetti
it's
controls.
called Beast
basically.
Wars. Beast. No,
Gang-
it can't
Gang
be.
Beasts.
It's not.
Gang
Gang
Beasts.
Beast. That's it. Yeah. Beast
Yeah.
Wars.
Anyways,
Yeah.
there's a lot of multiplayer games. I mean, shit. There's Baldur. You can play Divinity Original Sin 2 if you wanted to go CRPG route.
Mhm.
You've got esports on there. You can play Counter Strike, I guess, or something. I don't know. Like you can figure it out. Just the Steam Deck being an awesome piece of hardware is one thing, but the library is something else. It is. You can't compare any other game library to what Steam has.
Yeah.
If you use the Steam Deck as a console, it's just comes down to performance.
Right.
I think an Xbox or a PlayStation is gonna might be more performant for high end games.
Oh,
versus
definitely
the
is.
Steam Deck.
There's no question
Yeah.
about that. But
Yeah.
no, these are all good points. Plus, that thing can still be portable when it needs to be, and that's an advantage on a road trip. So, and you know what? I agree. I've come around. Steam Deck, but if it's a thing hooked to a TV, Series X for the content.
Yeah,
and
I'd probably do the
third place, I'd give it to PlayStation for amazing first party content.
I think I'd lean PlayStation 5 because then I could get a VR headset.
Because then I was gonna say you get your
Not out yet, Bo. The road trip's happening tomorrow.
yeah. Jesus wept.
See, so hey, all the PlayStation fans rejoice. Someone on this panel is on your side. So just because I know we dog PlayStation a lot, and hey, here's me swinging for the fences on Sony's behalf.
I mean, right now the game I want to play that is like a console game is God of War Ragnarok. So.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, look, I don't rag on PlayStation. I rag on Sony. But there's nothing wrong with that. That machine's awesome.
Yeah.
I think some of the policies and stuff.
I think we just spend a lot of time talking favorably about Xbox, like if you were to measure it in minutes, that's all.
Yeah, I'm less irritated with them as a company. It's so funny how it's flipped, but I used to be so irritated with Microsoft for years and years and years, decades maybe. And now I feel very positively about them. So they've done a pretty good job of flipping that script. And Sony just seems cold and not connected to what players kind of really want or think they want, or I don't know. There's something. It's a lot of it's on my own head. I'll admit that, but it still feels that way.
They still get some wins,
Yep, for sure.
They made you love baseball role playing.
They sure did. They sure did. Okay, what else? Oh, here's one from Drew J. Says best video game related gift you got as a child or have given to a child. For me, it was when I got the NES the first time. I got that for Christmas one year, and I about lost my mind. So yeah, that was mine. And we had other consoles and other stuff prior to that or whatever, but easily that was the one that was like, oh my gosh, that's under the tree. We're going to be playing that tomorrow, freaking out kind of thing.
Yeah. I think probably a general excitement would have been an N64 was a Christmas gift for me. I do remember getting my Nintendo 64 and playing Shadows of the Empire and being so excited. But I think probably my number one was I got Mario Paint for the Super NES as a Christmas gift.
Okay.
And holy shit, did I love Mario Paint.
Really?
I don't think I even like put it on like a Christmas list. I don't even remember like wanting that game.
Did your mom just see it and go, "Oh, this looks creative"? She's
likes
like,
he draws on everything. Yeah. Like, let's get him this. And it had that weird mouse, and it had that terrible mouse pad. And Mario Paint was just a great time. It was one of my all-time favorite games. I just loved sitting there making my own sprites. I used to go and download sprite sheets and select the sprite that I liked. Usually it was like Zero from Mega Man X. And I would print it out super big on a piece of paper so that I could see each individual pixel. And then I would recreate it in Mario Paint so I could put all the sprites I liked in Mario Paint.
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
That's great. That's great. I don't think you wasted your time at all. The only other one I forgot to mention was when Kim and I were dating, she bought me a Genesis, and I was really stoked about that. That was a big deal.
Yeah.
Bo, how about you?
Probably if as a direct gift, I'd have to award it to the NES, although Game Boy gets an honorable mention. I got one of those. I just can't remember when I got the Game Boy, but NES I got for graduating grade 4.
Oh.
It was my incentive to do well in school for my grandmother.
Nice.
But I played the shit out of Kid Icarus that weekend. I wanted one for so long because my friend had one and I wouldn't shut up about it. And she's like, went to Consumer Direct and she's like, here, we'll get it for you if you pass. But I think like my absolute favorite thing that it wasn't really a gift, but it ended up being for me, but Dad's always rationalized it as for the family, would be the 486 DX $3,000 computer that we got because I was on it 24 hours a day, pretty much.
Suddenly you're playing Doom all day, Quake.
Playing an MS-DOS, going on to BBS's, downloading shareware and not so shareware, and with Jill of the Jungle and like Commander Keen and all the Apogee and Sierra games. Like, I really liked that I had a computer. It really sort of sent me down that path of, programming and gaming.
Did your dad get weird about peripherals? Like my dad would, we wanted to mess around on like the Apple II at the time and the Commodore, and he was like, use it or for school and all this other stuff, but I don't want you using those controllers. They're like, game pads, or not game pads. What do you call them? I can't think of the name of the damn thing. Paddles, they called them, because they were just like Pong paddles. And we used them for various games and stuff, but he didn't want us using the keyboard or those Pong paddles ever, because it was all going to get worn out. And I get it, but I was annoyed always, because I'm like, well, what are they for then? Why did you buy the damn paddles if we can't play with them? He'd be like, well, you pay the $3,000 if it breaks. I'm like, oh, they're just keyboards and mice. We can, or not mice.
It wasn't peripherals. They had a weird fixation on hours, right? Like, it's like you can only game for 1 hour during the week, and then you can game for 1 hour on the weekend. Like, weird rules. So it became about ninjaing when they weren't paying attention on some device. And, I was allowed to use the computer if I wasn't playing a game, but let's say I was in WordPerfect 5.1, I think it was. And, I also fancied myself an auteur. I was playing D&D and reading Dragonlance novels, so I'd write, badly written tales about zombies ripping people apart and hand it in as my work projects, and then get the school calling my parents saying there's something wrong with your kid. And it all happened on the 486DX, where I was, so like I was just happy using the computer, even if I was prohibited from games. I'd be like, let's learn Quick Basic and let's do WordPerfect. I wasn't like deterred. So I love that the most.
Do you still have that stuff? Do you still have those old stories anymore?
I have a folder with like base file. I keep meaning to go in there and dig through them. Yes,
love to see that.
I've got some ancient history word. I need to. Yeah, thank you for reminding me of that.
Good on you for saving it. I got rid of all my stuff, and it is for the better.
It made it. So I stored them all on floppies, and then when CD-ROMs became a thing, I took all my floppies and burnt it to a few CD-ROMs. But it's still, I've transferred it from hard disk to hard disk, like my old documents. I have a folder with it on my.
I think that's great. There's nothing wrong with that, John.
You lose stuff here and there, but
Sure. But John, why'd you toss everything? What happened?
It was
there?
terrible. Me and my friend were trying to learn QBasic, and we would just write text adventures, and it would be like 90% Easter eggs, like what we wrote. It'd be like,
wow.
Do you want to go left or right? And like, sure, we would write generic stories to encompass both choices, but then we would spend hours on, but what if you say, touch my balls, then it's gonna do this, and it's gonna have, like, we planned so many stupid, like, and none of us ever tried anything beyond what, because we, one of us would sit there and program while the other played a wrestling game on the N64.
Sure.
And then the other would go and play what the other person did, and we'd watch and laugh, and then they would take a turn, and while the other person played wrestling, and that was just what we did. And it was just the stuff we wrote was so bad. It's just not good. It was not good quality. It was always extremely immature. It was always like basically no-win scenarios, because we thought it was funnier to see each other get killed. So like it's just, none of it was a good quality game. It was just there to troll each other constantly.
There'll be a day where Alexander's 20, he'll be digging through an old box, and he'll find he could have found some floppies that would have been like gold.
He'll find some stuff.
Look at this stuff my dad did.
My parents saved plenty of school projects and school stories, and a real ham-fisted apology note that I wrote to my mom that she has saved to this day, because it says, look, it's like the most like current day apology, like, twit longer apology, but I wrote it when I was 5, and it's like, Dear Mom, I'm sorry that you got upset about what I said, even though I was technically correct.
Yeah.
I'm still bothered that it hurt your feelings, and for that, I guess I'm sorry. And
I can't imagine John doing this at age 5. Just can't imagine. Just can't see it somehow.
Yeah.
So I sent you a screenshot. I went digging around of like files that were last modified in 1992.
Oh, look at this. Look at this
basic
old
files.
ass looking
Oh
thing.
my gosh.
All right, hold on. 92, you said? Oh,
Yeah,
95.
it's like
92,
it's in
93.
a zip file.
Oh, wow. Hold on a second here.
Those are some old files, man.
Wow.
Those ones and zeros have been in that arrangement for almost three. Well, is it 3 decades at this point?
What is the folder
two?
Eternal Slavery? What is that?
Oh, it's probably some creative writing I was doing.
Yeah.
Probably it was railing against commercialism. I was a very socialist young man
That's great.
in 1990.
I love it.
Well, that's 2000. Yeah, I started working a lot more that year. Is probably something like that.
That's great. See, I love that. I have old stuff too from the late 90s and on, but honestly, I don't know what drive it's even on. Somewhere in here. It's fun,
I
though.
didn't use technology for anything good when I was a kid, so that's why it's best that I didn't save any of it.
Yeah.
I was notorious for what I would do is when I knew my grades were coming in, I would go and I would open the envelope
Oh my gosh.
and I would take the grades out
Mm-hmm.
and I would scan the report card
Yeah.
and I would open the report card in Paint and I would modify the grades.
So if it was an
And
F,
I
you'd make an
would-
A, put a little line down there, whatever.
Well, what I would do, because I wanted to match the font and I didn't know what font they used, I would find somewhere in the header where an A or a B was used. And I didn't go crazy. I didn't give myself all A's. I gave myself okay grades
Yeah.
because that's more believable. So I gave myself subpar grades. Like I'd give myself a C, but I'd give myself an A to balance it out. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, it's okay. I would print out the modified grade sheet, refold it up, go get a different envelope. Actually, this was eventually I would do a different envelope and reseal it and all of that. But for a while, I used to do oh, guys, I know it was addressed to you, but I saw it was from the school and just thought it was from me and I opened it. I'm sorry. I know because I know I'm not supposed to open your mail.
Mm.
And I'd be like, it's my report card, though, but I think you'll be pleased.
Oh man, that's good. You were using technology to get it done, get her done. I'm impressed.
And someone in chat, didn't your parents have to sign them? You really think that somebody who went to all that trouble
Yeah.
to give his parents a fake report card didn't forge his parents' signature on
yeah.
the thing he gave back to his teachers?
Part of the deal. Yeah, they don't have to sign it.
that wasn't a hard moral hill to climb.
No, but what did
that was
the
fine.
teachers see anything weird when they got that back, or would you?
No, because they got the original back with a fake signature.
Oh, got it. Man, that's a bunch of jumping around you had to do. So
Yeah,
they'd
I'm
find out
convinced
eventually.
that's why I have a buggy stomach. I was living a lie for so long.
But hold on. So, but your parents eventually, like at the end of the year, they're like, "Whoa, I thought those grades were better." Like they're gonna find out, right?
No, I had to keep a record of what I made all my grades out to be so that every time a new report card came in, because it would show previous semesters, I would have to update those too. And I'd have to update them to what they were before. Eventually, what happened is I just came clean. And I
Yeah.
just was like, guys, I got to be honest with you. I haven't been being honest with you.
I love it. I love it. This is what kids do, man.
I'm dying of cringe over here.
Yeah. You get a little did you do any of this for your grade 8? Did you go
I think
like
I might have wrote a poem about a hot woman in a
Oh no,
shopping
Bo's
catalog.
reviewing his stuff.
Apparently that might have happened.
oh my gosh.
I can't even look. There's one file here called "Dying in My Lover's Arms" draft one.
Bo,
I'm like,
break that out. Patreon goal.
no, hell no. That's going in the vault. That's as much as you're gonna find out about whatever's going on
Patreon
there.
goal number 5, everybody.
Like
Oh,
I need
man.
a Wikipedia page and $10,000. No, just a
10K?
Wikipedia
Would you
page.
do it for 10K? Not that I'm going to
Yeah,
give you 10K.
come
but-
on. You won't be known as the late guy anymore, at least.
Yeah. Wait, your Wikipedia. I thought you had a. Don't wait. Wait. What am I?
Oh,
I'm
we were
thinking
talking
of-
about this last week. I
Yeah.
was like, I would do certain,
Uh-huh.
I am a creature of vanity. I value when my friends and I get together, the ones I know here
Mm-hmm.
and people I know, they have their kids and their lives and their cars,
Mm-hmm.
and I have none of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I can, I'd like to be able to say, well, I have a Wikipedia page, and they go, oh wow, and they're like, that's cool, and then they read what it's about, and it's about me shitting in a lake, and they're like, oh, it's not that cool.
I mean, I'll tell you what's not cool. I looked at
Good for you.
mine. Someone needs to update mine. Mine doesn't even show core in the listing.
Yeah, okay. Is there? Where's the Wikipedia people?
Somebody added Brock
In our
Runners
listener
Incorporated,
base.
though. They put my card game in there, and play retros in here. There will be dungeons in here. Why isn't core in here? Wait, did I just miss it? No, it's not here. They've got all the old shit. App Slappy, The Creep, Final Score, Autopilot. That's all in here.
Current podcast, play retro. There will be dungeon skim, morning stream, film sec. Yeah, no core. I think Diablo shows.
Yeah,
missing. That's
and it says App Slappy is a current show. What are you smoking? And then
Well, they got to update it.
and then the instance is put in past podcasts, and that just happened. Hold on. Is it down here? Yeah, core's not. Somebody who has a bunch of edit experience on Wikipedia. I know there's a ton of you out there.
I guess it's got to be supported by third-party media. So,
Well, that's
You know.
easy to do.
I guess
This
I-
is
I
just
don't
it's
know.
just sat there too long. Somebody go.
They're
update
gonna
that
get
thing.
it added, and it's gonna say core, which was very important from Scott that we included here. Like people are gonna just
Well, just
add
go
little
to
thoughts
go to
next to it.
Chartable or something. We do exist in places on the internet.
Somebody was
And
mad
it's
at me
been-
once and changed my thing to say that I kidnap and eat children. Bunch of fake stuff. It got taken down almost immediately, but there was somebody who was really mad at me.
And as well,
Man, the
Wait, what?
ultimate getcha.
Yep.
I'm gonna mess up your Wikipedia page.
Yeah. What they don't
People are
realize.
gonna go there and think you're a cannibal against kids. Got 'em.
The thing about Wikipedia is it self-corrects really quick. So even though some of it may be outdated, weird changes like that, they just don't last. People are always watching for weirdness, and that's why it's actually pretty good service. But anyway, somebody go update that shit. Here's our final question from Alexander R. It'd be funny if it was your kid. What do you all? He's too young.
It'd be
What
an
do you-
Alexander J, but
Yeah,
yes,
that'd be a different name.
I'd be a little annoyed that he changed his name.
That's true. What are all you doing for Christmas? Do you have anything nice planned? Hanging out with my kids and, the usual gift exchange stuff. And Kim and I are going to make a giant batch of Christmas jambalaya that we will mostly eat. And Christmas Eve for the first time in my entire, maybe life. I'm trying to think of another example. And it's certainly in my marriage. First time since I've been married to Kim that we have not been somewhere with someone on Christmas Eve. This year, we are alone. And I'm
Wow.
so excited to have that because everybody else got stuff going on. Taylor and them are on Dylan's side of the family doing their thing, which is totally fine. Carter's still in Iceland. And Nick's got a thing with his girlfriend's parents. So nobody's here. And so it's just going to be us, the dogs, probably watch like I guess the Maverick thing just came out, the new Top Gun, so we're gonna watch that now that it's on streaming. And in some ways it sounds lame, but I'm actually really excited about it.
No, that's the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah. It's gonna be good.
I'm hopefully going to be feeling better so that I get to have Christmas with my family instead of telling
being
them,
sick
hey,
on
don't come,
Christmas.
I'm sick.
Being sick on Christmas sucks.
Yeah.
I don't have to tell you that. But do you have
But
anything
I'm
else?
really
Yeah.
excited because little man, his grandparents are spoiling him.
That's what
They
they're
got
supposed
him
to
a
do.
hell of a gift.
Really?
Yeah, they
Place-
got him an electric Jeep.
PlayStation 5. Oh, is it like the one you ride in? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
it lights up.
dude.
It can Bluetooth into your music. It has leather seats.
Oh,
What?
It's friggin' nicer than my car. I'm like, what the hell is this?
Wow. Is it an actual Jeep? Like I know that's big right now is to have branded, but for kids, but branded like Jeep brand.
Oh, you know what? It might be. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if it's actually branded, but yeah, it's clearly a Jeep.
That's cool.
I had one when I was little. I had a little Power Wheel. It was not that nice, but
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. And I think they're just trying to recreate that is what they're doing. But
Yeah. Well, that's great. As long as they don't recreate Alexander writing in fake numbers for his grades and giving it to you and forging your signature.
Oh man, I'm gonna be on him though. I'm gonna figure that out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna know.
Yeah.
Well, see, the problem is that doesn't work nowadays because all the grades are online. You log into a website. You have to get a lot more creative to trick your parents now.
That's true.
Now I would have to make a fake intranet site,
Mm-hmm.
make it look like the official website,
Mm-hmm.
find a way to change my parents' bookmark because I'm sure they have it bookmarked, so that they go to my website instead of their website.
Yep.
And
Whole
then
different-
they just, I heard the grades got posted, guys. You want to go?
Yep.
Go look at it.
You'd have to
They sent you an email, get a fake email account
Yep.
to send out what looks like an official school correspondence with a link to my fake website.
Yeah. And then
With
you
my
You gotta
fake
download.
intercept their updates, right? You
Yeah,
gotta
yeah, yeah.
intercept school
Plus,
updates.
you have to
Yeah.
download their CSS, all of their style sheets, and then build this website to be exactly the same.
Yeah. Well, that's easy. Just copy the HTML. Well,
Yeah, that's
fine.
true. Make it static. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
they're not going to figure it out. They're not going to click around.
No, they're not.
Well, you
gonna-
can just set the links to the actual school site, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Just copy the original link so everything goes back there.
Yeah. No, this works. He's got his. Who knows what we'll be doing when he's old enough to want to do this, but for today, he's set. He's got it.
I feel
it's not that
bad
hard.
sometimes for my kids because that's what the stuff I did as a kid, which means I'm savvy to it. And when I came into the picture, my stepkids, they were running games all
Yeah.
over their mom.
Yeah.
That she didn't do that sort of stuff.
Right. So
I
she
did
didn't
that
know.
sort of stuff, and I was savvy to it, and I shut them down every turn.
Yeah.
And that was the initial friction was crap.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they have elevated it now, and it's now a war of I got to try and stay one step ahead of them.
Yeah. It's because you're tech savvy, as I was raising my kids. It made that stuff so much easier because they were like, they couldn't. There was nothing that I didn't understand, so they couldn't come in the house and go, "Oh, Snapchat, Dad'll never know." No, I know all about it.
Well,
I had
I
an
wouldn't
account
go that
before
far.
you did. Like they never had one over on me from a tech angle, and it was hugely
tech
helpful.
angle,
Yeah, hugely helpful.
yeah, we still haven't figured out mumble rap.
No. Yeah, Nick's obsession with rumble rap.
You're like, there's nothing they can get past me, and I'm like, who knows what's going on with mumble rap? You can't
That's
do
true. Some of it I have no idea. That's how that's their coded language now is mumble rap. Although I think that may have passed. That fad may be gone. I don't know. Anyway,
that. Yeah, what music is good now?
I know,
What's
right?
the kids, what do kids like?
That's the eternal question.
Yeah. Well,
What
hey
music is
kids,
good right now?
hey fellow kids, what's your big jam at the moment? Like I don't even
like, yeah.
like.
What are the genres? Like, when you go to school, you got, there's the rappers and there's the jocks and they listen to whatever. There's the rock guys who listen to Guns N' Roses. There's the arty people who listen to things you've never heard of.
I think kids raised on the internet have a different thing going where, like my daughter she loves 80s metal. My other daughter loves like late 90s grunge. Nick likes like old school 80s music, 70s music, mostly 70s actually. And he was born in 2000. Like they don't have a new genre or a genre of existing top 40 or whatever that they like anymore. They might find a weird band here and there, but they like old stuff. So I think there's a lot of that going on.
I'll tell you the one that kills me a little bit every time I hear it is I always hear like, oh, that's a TikTok song. Oh, that's a TikTok dance.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it isn't. It's
No.
a song you heard on TikTok. It's
Yeah.
a dance you saw on TikTok.
Yeah.
This song came out in the 70s, and you only think it's cool because someone put a TikTok video
Yeah.
to it.
No, you're right.
That's why.
That's right.
And it bugs me so much.
You know that
But that's because now I'm getting older.
that Aurora girl that we talked about on the Game Awards.
Yeah.
It's a little nutty. Her song, "Cure for Me," I think it's called. I wouldn't know about that song had it not been for TikTok. But even then, I don't go, that's a TikTok song. I go, that's a song that I didn't know about. I heard it on TikTok, but it's a song that
Right.
exists outside of TikTok. It's over here. She has a whole album. Like that part, I don't get why people do that. But anyway, kids, man, what even are they? Moving on. Thank you for all your patron messages, you guys. You guys are awesome. We really appreciate it. It is now time for us to talk about what we played. Not a lot of shared game here other than, there's some Bo played Ben Brode's Snap. I love how you wrote that in there. That made me laugh out loud. But I played World of Warcraft Dragonflight. I grabbed it the day the Metzen announcement happened. I'll admit it just got me excited, and I thought, well, why not? All right, let's get in there. And he was raving about it. He's like, dude, you got to do this. So I played it. I am completely hooked on that expansion. At least right now. I'm still leveling. I'm taking my time. I'm not rushing anything. 67, I think, maybe close to 68. 70 is the new cap. I think that campaign is great. I think that the care at which the systems seem to have had applied to them is very apparent. That's the most fun I've had with this stage of a game, of an expansion, since Legion. I think it's really good. And I think that dragon flying stuff is like legit fun. And I'm going to go ahead and be controversial to some of my my Guild Wars friends, Guild Wars 2 friends. I think even though a lot of these systems are lifted from Guild Wars, from their mount system in there, I like the implementation here better. I think it's less obtuse.
They're gonna come for you.
I know.
Oh man, that's like their one thing.
Stirring shit with the GW2 community is rough business. But I'm not. I mean, that's still one I really respect and like that game. But it's really well implemented especially into the story here. And so for an expansion where at the beginning of all this announcement, I remember going, I don't know, do I care what these Titans are doing? And dragons are fine, I guess. Like I was really kind of down on the direction of it. But I think it just feels really well made and incredibly well thought out. And I think the little stories are amazing. And every quest line I've done has felt meaningful and eventful, and it doesn't just feel like I'm running tasks and grinding. It feels great. So I don't know the long tail on this. I don't know if progression into the end game is going to draw me in or not. I don't know, but I know that at this stage of when you're playing to your 10 levels, it's some of the best stuff they've done. I really dig it, and it's almost all I've played, except for High on Life. John undersold this game last week.
Really? But then you told me that my review was spot on.
I think your review is. I said that before I got to a certain stage, so I'm gonna augment my comment just one tiny bit because I do think you're kind of spot on. It does fit into a not quite AAA, definitely not indie. It's this weird space we don't get a lot of anymore. 100% agree with you on that. There's too many examples in my head to like narrow down one, like an old example of what I mean by that. But it's just it's a certain kind of game that we don't get it very often anymore that just kind of lands in the upper middle, a B level game, but not B as in grade. I think that game's actually really great. And what I like about it is it's legit funny. It's hard to make me laugh in a video game. Very hard. For whatever reason, the medium's never lend itself well to comedy. People talk about this all the time, but it just doesn't work on me very often. I had laughed out loud multiple times. I played a big chunk of it with my nephew, and he sat there and he just giggled at it like it was ridiculous. I think that the structure of the game is actually really good and super opens up when you get the second gun. So when you get Leon, the gun called Gus,
which that actor has a name, but we just have a bad habit of calling him Leon from Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Yeah, Leon's amazing.
What's his name?
JB Smoove or JB Smoove?
Yes, that's it.
He's amazing.
He's the voice of the second gun, which I didn't know at the time that I talked about this last week. And finding out that was the reality made me so much more interested in this game because he's another one of those voices that I will just talk about whatever. I don't care what it is. He just makes me laugh, whether it's in the Spider-Man movies, the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies as the teacher, the Harley Quinn cartoon as Frank the plant. He's great in everything. I just love hearing him talk, and that's what this game is.
Full agreement. It's a bunch of that. And if you like Justin Roiland already, this is a no-brainer because I mean, the first gun, who is still with you a lot, and you just alt-tab out, or not alt-tab, you swap with him, and he still talks to you from your pocket. It's Morty from Rick and Morty. I mean, it's that voice. It's Justin Roiland, but it's also him doing Morty 100%. It may mean that Roiland doesn't have a ton of range. I don't know.
Yeah,
But he's very funny, and I think some of the ancillary character stuff's really great. I think the sister surprised me how much I like her. The one that's stuck back at the house. She's played by Sarah Silverman's sister, I can't think of her name right now. Lorraine Silverman, something like that. She's very good. Anyway, when you get that Gus shotgun thing, suddenly it's like, oh, I got this like disc and it can make me go to higher places I couldn't go before. Like there's a bunch of traversal that wasn't there before. And I think that game is great. I'm having a ball. And apparently it's doing well kind of everywhere. It's selling well on Steam. The Game Pass version, Microsoft claims it's the most engagement they've had in a Game Pass game this year.
Wow.
So more people playing it than anything this year as a new launch. Like Halo Infinite would have beaten it, but that was last year.
Well, I think this is a perfect Game Pass game.
Yeah.
Because this is a game that I don't think is for everybody. The humor might not land for you. I don't think it's the most competent shooter I've ever played.
Mm-hmm.
It's an okay shooter. It works. It functions. It has some cool mechanics to the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Some verticality and dodging and stuff.
Right.
But I don't think it's the best playing shooter. So there's a lot of elements that might not hit for people, which is why I was like, it's kind of middle of the road is where I would stand on it. Because if the comedy doesn't land, you're not going to like the game. If the gameplay really bugs you, you're probably not going to like the game. But if you're okay with something that's just like pretty solid in both those categories, you're going to love this.
Yeah.
Like it's really good.
I agree. I think it's great. And I think we're all but assured a sequel. I would look forward to that. I think I'm going to finish this probably this weekend. It's not super long. I think it's 12 hours or something, 10, 12. Probably about perfect. I don't overstay its welcome. And there are moments I just laugh out freaking loud. I don't do that in video games ever.
Yeah,
I do that with
there's some
friends
really
playing them
funny
because we're
stuff
laughing
in
at
here.
each other. But there are moments where I was like, oh my gosh, you guys freaking went there. Oh my gosh. Like, it's pretty crass. It's pretty, it's a
Did you
rated
kill
R
the
game.
kid?
I did. And I immediately went down to the mom, and the mom's like telling me the story and the whole thing about he's 35. And I went, oh yeah, John told me about this lady. It was great. It was great. So you know what? I won't say you undersold it. I'll say you sold it. How's that?
I got you to play it.
Yeah,
so,
that's selling
that's it.
Yeah. And I
Yeah,
enjoy
I've been trying to get you to play Midnight Suns, and did you play it?
Nope. Still sitting there
The
on the hard
game we
drive.
raved about. The game John
Raved
said was
about it
pretty
last
good. He played.
Yeah. Isn't
The
that
game
weird?
Two of us raved about.
Part
He's
of it
like,
is because I was having this game night with my nephew, and you were like, what do you feel like playing? He goes, oh, is that game High on Life? I want to see it. So that's what kind of made it happen.
It's a
but-
really good social game too.
Yeah.
Like sitting down with other people around watching it, like you're gonna have more fun with it.
I agree. And you're both kind of laughing, and he's giggling like crazy. He's in high school right now, and F-bombing guns are a hoot to a kid in high school. So that was good. Yeah, I still haven't played Midnight Suns. I think my problem remains that I'm not saying I'm not, because maybe if I fired it up, I'd change my mind, but I just think I'm not in the mood for a card brawler as described to me by a bunch of people. And I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I just have done a lot of that, and I don't know why. I don't know why I'm resistant. I don't know what my problem is. It's on my hard drive. Oh, part of it is I haven't paid for it. So this is how it works. You download it if you do Xbox, you take your phone, you say, download this to my console. It downloads the entire game, but it won't play until I, go in and say, here's my credit card or whatever. And I haven't done that yet. If it was just sitting there ready to play, I'd have played it by now. Like if it was a Game Pass game or whatever. But every time I look at it, I'm like, do I really want to play that? And do I want to spend $70 right this second? And I just keep going, oh, I'll get around to it. And I walk away.
Yeah, Spider-Man does some cool flippy stuff and then kicks a guy.
I don't doubt it. I know I'm going to play
Kicks a guy
it.
into another guy.
I'm 100% sure I'm going to play it. Maybe now that my Steam Deck's back, I'll buy it there and delete the one on the console. I don't know. John, you played Vampire Survivors DLC.
Wait,
go ahead.
I got an emergency drop before we start with John.
Oh.
Just because I've been a little quiet, listeners might note, because I was busy buying shit.
Oh, I thought you were gonna poo. Okay, this is good. Go
I
ahead.
got
No,
an
no, no, no.
emergency drop. Got a
News,
physical
like a
link.
news drop.
Oh,
Pause
breaking
the
news.
show.
Okay.
Diablo 2 Resurrected is on massive sale right now
Oh, is it? How much?
on the Blizzard. So I'll give you the Canadian spiel, which is, let me just find it. Shit. I also bought StarCraft remastered because it was like $10.
Like Bo's just over here buying stuff.
You're just buying.
Yeah.
Or is a real detriment to him.
Yeah. I get
Let me
you.
see here. Diablo. Where's this holiday sale? All right. So it's regular $54.99 Canadian, on sale for $18.15.
Oh wow, here's 13 here in the States. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a super steep, like, if you don't, it's like one of those purchases. I don't feel like playing it right now, but I may get an itch to boot up Diablo 2 at some point, and why don't I get it for $18?
Yeah.
So
It's not
yeah,
bad. I bought it. I own
great.
this and it's good. It's real good. Don,
Yeah.
you got it too, didn't you?
Yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I played it.
Sweet.
It
I
looks
got it
awesome.
for-
That's solid.
It's a cool game. Yeah. I personally think the remastery part, the redo of like the graphics and everything are legit cool.
it was steep enough to warrant attention and immediate purchase. It wasn't like, 30% off. Like, I'm not going to bring it up, but I'm like, that's a really deep price cut.
Like when I bought this Genji statue for $15.
I would
don't
do
even
that.
like
I'd buy
Overwatch, but I was like, man, that's a Genji statue for $15.
I would have done that. I don't even play Genji. I don't like Genji. Don't like playing him, but I would buy his statue for 15.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
People are like, John, you're a hypocrite. You don't like Overwatch and you bought a Genji statue. I can say he was in Heroes of the Storm.
That's right. I didn't like him in there either. I just don't,
No, I didn't.
I don't know what it is. I don't like that. I just don't like him.
I like the art
like
style
Genji.
though. Like
I like that he
the
exists.
art and the craft.
I agree.
So,
I just don't like how he plays. That's all.
yeah.
In either iteration, for whatever reason, it's just not my jam. I'd play. I don't know. Who do I not like other than him? I kind of like everybody but him, if I'm honest. Who's really fun right now is freaking Torbjorn. That dude's rocking it. He's great.
Yeah,
they
puts
fixed
down
him?
a turret.
Yeah, he's fixed
Hammers
real
it.
good. Hammer. It doesn't even hammer it anymore.
Shoots a thing.
Well, he hammers it to repair it, but he doesn't build it anymore, or he doesn't.
Stands near a payload.
He doesn't do stages anymore, right? They took that
Payload
out.
moves.
I think it's.
I don't remember, but he's got some more options. He's got like a shotgun blast and then a long range blast. Now he's got some more actual shooty business going on.
Yeah, and his cooldown, E, I think E or shift is his not molten core, but his old molten core. When you turn all red and fire molten bits, he gets that for a short amount of time without the turret being part of it, and that's just a regular rotation of a cooldown now. Whereas his ultimate is he spews hot lava goo all over the floor, and it sucks if you're caught in that. Oh my gosh, it sucks.
Play
great,
of the
though.
game.
Play of the game.
I was not impressed.
John,
Not- it's not
Vampire
working.
Survivors DLC, Legacy of the Moonspell. You played it, you beat it, you loved
I
it.
didn't beat it.
Oh.
I've got a lot more to do in it. Turns out there's a lot of content in there, despite the fact that they self-proclaim that it is severely overpriced DLC. There's enough there to it's $2. There's enough there to warrant multiple playthroughs. They added stuff that cleared out my gold pretty quick. But it's neat. All the new map and all the new items and characters and stuff are like very Eastern themed. So it's not just Castlevania. Like, you got your samurai, you got ninjas, and you got a lot of stuff like that in the game now. And the new map is pretty cool because, they play with it. The first map is kind of go wherever you want. Then you got the library, which is a very horizontal map, and the last one is a very vertical map. This one feels more like an actual map where it's like there's a mountain over here and there's a path that leads up the mountain. And there's a little town over here and you can go inside the buildings and do things. And it's kind of crazy. I will say the new map is hard.
It looks hard.
I did play through it and I did beat it, but I was doing it as the Queen character, which is actually the character that you have on screen right now, who is severely overpowered.
Yeah.
And it was fine for her, but like trying to go through on a standard character just out of the blue, I was just getting wrecked trying to do unlocks at the same time. But some really cool new characters in there, some really cool new weapons that do some new stuff. One of the things, it's actually been a trend in some of the later patches that they did, but they're continuing it with this, is in the early days of Vampire Survivors, it was very much like you get a weapon and then you get a power up, and those two things work together to create a more powerful version by getting this and that. To kind of allow for a wider variety of builds and stuff like that, they now have more items that you take these two weapons and those equate to a power up, or you can take this single weapon and power it up on its own just by choosing this and foregoing a weapon slot. You can get an upgrade path this way. So there's a lot of really cool builds you can do in there, some really fun stuff. It turns into an explosion of graphics that makes you feel insanely overpowered. I think on my first clear of the new map, again, as the overpowered queen, I think I was like level 259
Oh
by
my
the time
lord.
it ended.
Jeez.
And I remember early runs of Vampire Survivors where getting to level 100 was a challenge. So it's crazy. It's cool. And more of that game, giving them another $2 was the easiest thing in the world to do for the amount of time I've spent in that game. And yeah, there's a ton more stuff in there now. So
Nice. Well, first, I was a little concerned. This queen seems to just be running through people. Is that part of her deal? She can just bump
she's
into folks.
insanely overpowered.
Is that like a
Her like growth rate on every stat is high. She starts with 3 tarot cards immediately. So she's got 3 major buffs that are usually spread out throughout your entire run right out of the gate.
yeah?
Her weapon's good. Like, just everything about the queen is very overpowered.
Do you think this was this was them honoring Queen Elizabeth on her death year? Do you think that's what that is?
Yeah, probably. That's honestly the most logical.
Yeah, a lady that could just tear open minions and. Yeah.
And I mean, I'll say this, like, yeah, the queen is overpowered, but it's also not the easiest character in the world to unlock. So, you know, if you've got the queen, you earned her, go use her.
Yeah,
You know,
that should
it's
be
the
that
same
should be
with
that.
any of the hidden characters that are in that game. If you got them, good on you. Use them.
That's the reward
Yeah.
because you did the work. So
Yeah.
play it and be happy. Let's see what else. Oh, and then all your usual
other
stuff.
than that, I just did my usual, played a lot more Marvel's Midnight Suns. I think I'm getting near the end of that game. I pulled a U.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about World of Warcraft. Everybody's trying the new expansion, including me. I got it.
Yeah.
I downloaded it. I got my talents. I got my bars. I got everything ready to go.
Yeah.
I took my first quest on the Dragon Isles, and I went, that was a really good time to get back into Final Fantasy 14.
Oh no.
That is
And that's that's what I did.
That's 100% a thing I would do. You're right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's me pulling a Scott
Yeah.
and still playing Fortnite. I'm actually getting better at the new game that it has become.
Hey, do you get to take part in that class action lawsuit deal, FTC fine thing, where you can get a bunch of money?
I don't know, maybe, but if they offer me money, I'll take it.
Well, there's some.
I'll tell them I felt exploited as a child.
Yeah, and then they just give you money.
This is a 30-something-year-old child I was taken advantage of.
Sure. We'll see how that pans out. Seems pretty weird. Bo, it's still more Midnight Suns. Still loving it. Still great.
Oh, yeah. I mean, basically, my routine is once it's nighttime and the day's travails are finished, I sit down for some Midnight Suns. That's all I do. I streamed a little bit of it a few nights. I'm not progressing the campaign. I'm just doing side missions and playing progression game on my heroes. Like, it's not even about I'm gonna blow through. Although I'm playing on Ultra too, like, but still, like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to play New Game Plus. I don't think there's gonna be anything for the game to offer me because I'm already like max leveled and stuff.
Yeah, I'm really curious what New Game Plus is because they tell you about it. They're like, hey, you're unlocking stuff for it now. And I'm like, cool. I have no idea what that looks like. Meanwhile, I'm getting everybody up to level 25 and I'm getting everybody to friendship level 5 and I'm getting every card. And
yeah, I find the tactical combat really enjoyable. Like thinking through the puzzle of, what's the mission? The mission types vary, and then the units all do different things, and it's fun. It's just I'll throw, and it's the kind of game where I've played it enough now. I throw on if I want to watch some YouTube or if I want to watch TV, I throw the second screen on, watch some stuff, and then play the game because there's no story if you're just doing side missions. It's just kind of like I'm at the point where there's no more dialogue. There's no more clubs. I finished all the
Yep,
clubs.
all the clubs are
I
done. Book
finished.
club is done. I'm so sad.
Yeah, all the
Book
clubs are
club was the
done.
best.
All the friendships are maxed out, so the conversations are kind of just generic on repeat stuff. And I've got so the thing I've been grinding for is the upgraded heroic cards, where you get 2 copies and build them together. And then I'm grinding out. So I need to get legendary blueprints. They don't always come up in a mission. And then I'm grinding heroic essence is the hardest essence to come across, mainly because the ultimate cards are heroic cards, so it's just a big spend. A lot of spend is required on that. Where I'm going to apply ability mods to them, and I'm just going to deck out the entire team. And then I haven't got Hulk yet. I know you get Hulk at a certain point, so
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
gonna,
have him either.
I'm sort of I'm at the start of Act 3, and I'm just side missioning up in Trancia, and yeah, and then I
Although
might
they
go.
need to buff Scarlet Witch, because my god, I was so excited to unlock her, and what a disappointment character she was.
She gets better. She's like a utility character. I saw that conversation in our core Discord chat, and I prefer her to Nico personally. But
That's madness.
Nico's too random. I hate casting Witchfire and then it hitting the full health dude. And because I don't know what difficulty you're playing on, but an Ultra, like the health pools are like in the thousands, right? It's like 1,000.
I'm playing on Ultra 1.
Okay, yeah, I'm on 2, so it's almost the same
Probably
thing.
close, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just I hate when her random stuff strikes like a deep health pool guy, and I don't get the rest of the procs on that random spell. I don't spec her out healer because my guy is the healer, so she's never a good include because it's too redundant, not enough DPS output. So I think it's just contingent, but I find Scarlet Witch she's like a bag of tricks person. It's the chaos reigns, the one that causes the enemies to attack each other.
Yeah.
I think that card of hers is really good. And then she had the quick spells, the ones that do quick. Those are good. They're rare for some reason.
I think what she needs, the default radius, because you get her and the first thing they tell you about her is they say, hey, she's the AoE master or something like that. Like they basically are like, hey, she's really great at area, and she gets spells that impact the direct area around her, but like your movement is a valuable resource. So moving her in to be in the right position for this tiny little radius around her by default is not cost effective for the damage that spell does most of the time. You can increase that radius, but that costs another card, which is also a resource. Like, I just find that everything about her, if I know the fight's going to go long, like if it's against a boss, I actually think she's okay, because I feel like everything about her builds. It's like she gets an attack that can chain, but it only chains after every cast of that spell. So if you go a bunch of rounds in, it can turn into like this crazy powerful spell. But if you're just going to go a couple rounds in, it's garbage. Like, it's a chain spell that doesn't do anything.
Yeah, you're right.
I feel like it should have the quick modifier on it. Anyway, this is getting way technical and nitty gritty, but I was really disappointed.
I'm not saying she's the best. I'm just saying I usually field her on a team over Nico. Like I actually run Scarlet Witch, but no, if you want the best like characters, it's clearly not.
Sure.
DPS wise, it's clear the best character is clearly Wolverine. And I'd say like runner up for best character, in my opinion, is probably, I don't play him a lot, but it's probably Captain America. I have gotten thousands of block.
Yeah.
With that one card that just lets you stack block, and then you use his ultimate, and then you're just like 3,000 block, and I'm like, you're never killing Captain America. He's the best.
Yeah, I actually had my first mission where Hunter was injured, so I didn't take Hunter on a mission. I almost always include Hunter. And so I was forced to do one, and I did Cap and Captain Marvel and Iron Man. And I was like, all right, because those were actually the only characters that weren't injured. And you'll understand when you get to it if you're not already there. But everybody else on the team was injured for story reasons. And I was like, all right, well, I got these 3 characters. They're the only ones who can do the mission. And I went in. It was a hard mission because that was the only Cap mission that was available. And I went in and I was like, I hope this works. And doing those 3 on a team, holy shit. I was like, maybe I'm not going to bring the Hunter on any missions anymore. Like, oh my God, this team just crushed.
What was the team configuration? Cap?
Captain America, Captain Marvel, and Iron Man.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was a pretty good combo. Just I don't even know what they do yet, and that sounds like a good combo to me, just on the face of it.
Yeah, I was like, wow, we got.
Well, Iron Man has he can put out some pretty good damage to make up for the other 2. I guess are just counterbots, shieldy counterbots.
Yeah,
and then Iron
take
Man
a lot of hits.
It uses all the heroism to just. I realize it's all lost in Scott, so it's a 2-person conversation.
No, I get
That
what you guys are talking about.
Awesome, Scott. It's so much.
I need to
so,
play it.
Like in depth for a Marvel game too. I love that. I love a Marvel game because I'm, we can.
Take it or leave
Spider-Man's not. I should be playing that. That's an overwhelmingly positive, amazing game, and I'm like, eh.
Yeah.
But give me tactical card game by Firaxis, and I'm all over your Marvel.
You know what's great is that your 2 games that you have listed this week are all Marvel. You're all Marvel all the time right now.
I know. It'll come to an end eventually, but like Suns definitely will wear. Like I'm not going pro or semi-pro in Marvel Midnight Suns. Like I'm starting to feel like I've mined most of the game and will need to finish. So hopefully it'll be the last week of this.
Do you feel like because next week we're doing our top 10s or our top whatevers, our top games of the year, and some of that discussion next week on our special episode of Core. Is it if you had to? I mean, this is up there, I assume, for your
yeah, this would probably be pretty. I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I know what my number 1 is.
Elden Ring was this year, and I put way more time into Elden. That was months of play.
Yeah,
but it might be in my top 3. It might be in my top 5. Like I played a lot of Midnights. Like it's just rare that I get into a game where I'm like. Because I'm doing the same thing Bo is. Like, I'm farming this game to see everything that's there. I could probably go sit down and end this game in an evening if I wanted to. But I'm having a good enough time doing the fights. And, like, the in-between stuff is so ignorable right now that I'm just like, no, let's get everything maxed out. Let's see everything there is to see. And then I'll wrap it up. And it's rare that I do that unless I really love a game. So... But I did do that with.
I'm at 115 hours in.
It's a lot.
The playtime's estimated to be 60-70, so I'm almost 50% over the threshold. That
it's a lot of side content.
It's just I like playing the missions. I like cranking up the difficult. It's torment level. It's like the Diablo's was the same way for a long time. Diablo 3 was get the gear on Torment 1, try Torment 2. Get the other gear, crank to 3, then go to 6, and then do 6 for a while, and then crank to 10. And now I think they have like Torment 22 now. But like that, I'm having that kind of a game loop with Midnight Suns where it's just like, okay, I've mastered this difficulty. Now it unlocks the next tier. I'm like, let me crank it up. Ultra 3 is a little too hard right now. I still haven't fully managed. Oh, I'm getting better though with the upgrades, but you don't get any revives on Ultra 3.
Boy.
Oh.
And sometimes there's a mistake or tactical error, someone goes down, but I think I'm almost ready to try that difficulty level. No one gets any revives, but Wolverine still gets one because
he's Wolverine.
Powers that he's got self-healing. And
so that sounds like Iron Man mode in this case, sort of. Is that what that kind of?
You can still retry the missions. I don't think there's an Iron Man mode where you fail. It's not brutal like XCOM where you fail out the campaign. It's like if you fail a mission, just retry it again.
Okay.
It's just
you just can't revive them in mission with a card. That's
like we know in XCOM you'd save the game anyways and save scum stuff. So it's just like you fail, just try again. No big deal. It's not hardcore like XCOM is.
Got it.
which is, I think, again, it's more like Diablo, where Diablo's not hardcore. You die, you're back in Tristram, and you go out and fight again.
Right.
So yeah, no, it's great.
Unless you do
Well, it's
hardcore.
also smart. They didn't do. It's not like an immediate translation of XCOM. Like you think of XCOM and you think of all the memes of people putting their guns right up against an alien's head and then missing.
Mhm.
Like this isn't that kind of game. Like
Yeah.
you hit the enemies, they hit you. You know, like it's
There's no
not
missing in this game at all.
Yeah, the only thing you can miss is if you try to do. There are certain cases where you can set up an instant kill by knocking somebody into a portal or off a building or stuff like that.
Oh,
You
right.
do have a percentage chance to succeed in those cases, but those are kind of extreme cases anyway. Although there's nothing more satisfying. There's a whole mission type where you have to disrupt summoners summoning something out of a portal, and
That's
there's
what summoners
nothing
do.
more satisfying than running up and just 25% chance, just shove them, and they just fall in their own portal and instantly die.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, it feels so good.
See, that's not a fail state. That's a I'm going to hit him no matter what, but also I may pull off a little thing that will send him back into his portal. I like those kind of things.
You'll win a 25% chance to win, and then you'll miss 90% chances. Because that happened to me the other day.
Oh.
Where it's like 75% to push him in a hole. Nope. Let me try again. This time it's 80. Nope. This time it's 80 again. Surely I gotta get it. Nope.
Nope.
And it's a valuable lesson about gambling. Even if the odds are in your favor, you can still lose incredible times in a row.
That is true. Finish things out with Ben Brode's Snap. You guys might be familiar with it.
I don't got much to update. I just included it to be comprehensive.
Yeah.
We talked about it. I think the extent of it. I don't have anything more to say other than it's my mobile game of choice. Like it's kind of almost bad. Like if I'm waiting for a cab, if I'm on the toilet, the phone comes out and a Snap game comes up. The amount of time is definitely the key ingredient in playing it. If I had to spend any more time with it, I wouldn't be playing it.
Yeah, that's the key to that thing. Quick games, in, out, go.
Yeah,
they've
done well. They've done well on that front.
I agree. Oh, and the Steam version is in early access right now. That just happened. If you want to play it at your computer, you can play it on Steam.
Did they update it? It's been out since mobile launch.
Oh, was it? Oh, I thought that was new this week.
No. It's been
Oh,
out.
shows what I know. I didn't realize that. Not me and Ibbot and a bunch of other people acted like we had no idea. Or didn't act like we didn't
Well,
know.
it's in beta. It looks terrible. Like
It's
one of the
real
main
rough.
draws is the card art. Everything looks great on mobile. On PC, it's the most ass-looking app. And because it's in beta, and I guess they're working on it. So my expectation is there'll be a proper client, but it's really not a great way to play if you care about what you're looking at.
Because they originally, when they first talked about desktop, they were saying they wanted to have a client that was, took advantage of modern resolutions and widescreen and blah, 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 all the reasons you would have Hearthstone, for example, there as well as mobile. But what you're telling me is they launched it kind of jank.
We'll call it like where Diablo Immortal on the PC was?
Oh.
We'll say like maybe a little worse than that.
Oh my gosh, how could it be worse?
For sure. It's like stretched out phone screen. Like it doesn't look good.
Wow.
It doesn't look good. Like there's still like swiping effects that you can't even do with your mouse. You're just like it just locks up between news stories and you're just looking at the middle bar between the two and it doesn't slide right.
It's really good
it's not,
on
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's functional.
It's
you
functional.
can play your Snap games there, but it's it's not ideal.
For the anyone out there with an M1 Mac or an M2 Mac, these new Apple Silicon based chips in their Macs, the iPad version you can just install straight to your desktop, and that plays really well on your Mac. Sadly, it doesn't look that good on the PC. I can tell now by looking at these screenshots, but it's basically like it just puts like a iPad-sized window on your screen, and you play it like you about at that same resolution, and it looks good. But I hope they work toward a proper PC client.
It's on the roadmap. It's on the roadmap.
All right, that's good. Well, that's what we played. When we come back from our break, it's going to be a little time with Dear Martha. Got a brand new magazine to talk about. Not brand new, but hey, we're talking about a console that had CDs in it. So that's kind of cool. We'll get to that coming up soon, as well as some other news stories, an email, a text or two, all that right after this.
Play.
Nope, you're good.
We had to feel the baby.
Kids matter. It's all good. Okay, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the deal here. We're going to jump straight to Dear Martha, and John's got probably a little setup for this. I see this is a more modern magazine, John, compared to usual.
Yeah, a little not as far back as before.
Yeah. But similar deal, eh? Just going to review it and
It's
go for it.
Same thing. You got the pictures.
I do.
Pictures.
I'm going to put
All
this right up here. Hold on a second. There it is. There's our cover. Let's play the music. We're off.
My dearest Martha, it has come to my attention that my recent over-eagerness to espouse the merits of Game Pass and my nostalgic love for Nintendo Power, that I may be showing what the internet has lovingly dubbed, "You're super biased, bro." To help mend fences and hopefully never be called bro again, today's magazine review is PSM, or PlayStation Magazine, Issue 6 from February 1998. Just look at this magazine, Martha. I thought about doing something from December or festive, but then I saw this cover, and it's just Leon S. Kennedy and Resident Evil 2, all done by Joe Mad, and it's wonderful. Except for that weird spot where the wall graffiti is in front of Leon's gun for some reason, but who cares? It's great! The magazine clearly thinks so too, because it's the cover, it's a fold-out poster in the issue, it's in a write-up about the cover on page 6, they use it again as a graphic for their cover story on page 10, and then an ad for the previously mentioned poster on page 11. But hey, if you have Joe Mad do your cover, you use the shit out of it. Speaking of him though, I do like that they're in write-up on the cover, they say, maybe someday we'll even see his work in video games. Yes. Yes, you will. Anyway, I really like PSN. It really traded on this concept of being a rogue, independent, underground magazine, despite being 100% about PlayStation. It's also just a really exciting time for games. I already mentioned Resident Evil 2, but they also cover Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy Tactics, Tekken 3, and Breath of Fire 3. They also give a complete move list for all the characters in Star Wars Masters of Terras Kasi, a terrible video game that I only mention to remind the world that there is a Star Wars game where you can play as a Tusken Raider named Whore. That's H-O-A-R for those getting ready to be offended. I also need to mention my favorite ad, because this week's is really something. It's a print advertisement for Yahoo Chat. That's right, chat rooms, brought to you by Yahoo, via a really shitty print ad in a video game magazine. What a time 1998 is, Martha. Before I leave you, I have one final observation. I find it fascinating how upset you all get in modern times about spoilers. Maybe it's M. Night Shyamalan's fault. Maybe it's because of Doctor Who. But y'all are annoying. You know who you are. But with that perspective in mind, it just boggles it to see what information they happily published back then. The Resident Evil 2 preview shows just about every area the game takes place in. How to solve certain puzzles, which scares got them the most, the side characters you'll meet, the enemies you will fight, and the primary example I'm thinking of, both the existence of and how to defeat the giant crocodile in the sewer. They even say, we don't want to spoil anything for you, but... Then they show 5 images of it, describe it, tell you how to defeat it, and the last picture is the croc's head exploding. Exactly what mystery do they think they're maintaining? Anyway, happy holidays, everyone. But mostly Martha, as she's presumably the only person reading this. May your games be merry and bright. Yours in time, S. Beckett 98.
I really like that one. Wow, they really do. It's like it's a strategy guide before a game comes out.
Yeah.
That's
wasn't
weird.
even out, but they're like, look at this boss. Here's how you defeat it. And they literally say, we don't want to spoil it, though. But
But
here's
here
the
it is.
crocodile.
Yeah.
Here's how you fight it. It's gonna come after you. Make sure you press this button. Look how it dies.
Yeah, that's weird. Remind me, who's the girl's name that you do the whole second CD with? What's her name?
There.
Claire. Oh, that's Claire Redfield, duh.
Yeah.
Her outfit's dumb. I'm just gonna say it. I'm pulling this up. That's dumb. What is this? Some kind of weird red jean unit on top of some tight short. What the frick is she wearing? It's
I don't
dumb.
know. It's
Those
like
are
bike
short-
shorts underneath red jean shorts with a red vest that matches on top of it.
It's
Who
bad.
knows,
It's
man?
bad. It's dumb. I don't like it.
I
the
like
belt's
what
in the
they
wrong
did
place.
in the remake to try and make that a modern looking outfit.
Yeah, that
But I
was
like
pretty
even
good.
more that you can also get this ridiculous outfit and put her in it too.
Oh, where did you put? Where's that? Oh, this one. You mean this one? The one I just showed.
Yeah, yeah.
Sorry.
You can do that one.
Also, I'm still looking at Bo's weird folder full of stories I want to read. All right, let's push that to the back. All right, there's that. Well done, of course. And now, for all that have been waiting, more news. A couple of quickies here. God of War TV show. They say the Amazon boss, the guy in charge currently of content over there, says it will be incredibly true to the source material. And by that, they mean the old man Kratos. They're not talking about early Kratos games.
Some might say we just put the gameplay on the screen.
Yep. Kind of, yeah.
That's how true to the gameplay it's gonna be.
That'd be funny if they just ran, like, the games, the cutscenes and stuff. That'd be a hoot.
Yeah.
And I would say that's incredibly true to the source material. I would say.
I mean,
that.
everybody's doing their stunt casting for Kratos right now. So,
Yeah. Who do you have one?
knows?
Do you have one you like besides yourself?
I don't know, man. I think like as far as look, so a lot of people have thrown Triple H, the wrestler, as,
Really?
having the look. He's spot on for the look. I'll say
Okay.
that.
Okay.
But I don't think Triple H is a very good actor.
Mm.
So I don't think it should be Triple H. But
Mm.
you know, a lot of wrestlers' names get thrown in there. The Rock, Dave Batista, you know.
Yeah. Batista's got maybe the more of the acting chops of the wrestling crowd, but I don't know if he has the
Yes.
right look for it, face wise.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think he's there. Who knows? Who knows what they're gonna do? Hopefully they just get somebody who's new.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Maybe just, find some huge buff, roided out dude who also looks good in an old beard and the kid, it doesn't matter who you hire for the kid, just whoever. It's fine.
Just get a kid.
Just get a
Yeah,
kid. Find some
Get a
kid.
kid. You can find a kid.
Yeah,
Just
always.
go outside, you find a kid.
Here's an interesting, it's a little older but interesting. CD Projekt Red doing an interesting experiment with Gwent. They're going to stop doing updates in 2023 to the card game, the standalone Gwent card game. 70 plus cards left to release, they say. And then they will give it to the community to develop. I think that's cool. They're basically handing over development or handing over source code and just saying, go, make Gwent.
So they didn't get into specifics about what exactly they're handing over to the community. So I'm not sure if it's source code.
Yeah,
in the
that's a good
article,
point.
It's
Yeah.
like, but they're going to give them tools of some kind. Like, we don't often hear about these kinds of things. It was often a Blizzard thing. Blizzard doesn't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
You don't hear a lot of that. And
Yeah.
it's interesting to say, like, well, okay, well, you guys do something with the game. I'm very curious to see what happens because sometimes really cool shit comes out of that, like a new game mode that everyone wants to play. Like, who knows?
Well, it used to be you'd wait forever for like Doom source code or Quake to become public use, like free use or whatever, which did happen, but it took 20 years. And people make some amazing homebrew stuff out of that stuff. But this is a relatively new thing. Like, Gwent's not that
I mean,
old.
it's a game as a service too. So the
Right.
way it sort of sounds is like balance changes might be able to be made by the community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how does this work? I have many questions,
Mm-hmm.
but I find it very interesting. It's like they're going to move most of the developers off that team, but they're going to keep a few people on there to keep the Gwent thing going. And I'm just like, I find myself very curious to see what comes out of that.
Yeah, me too. We'll have to follow that. Win Magus in the chat says this was a TCG game now in Genshin Impact. So like embedded in there the way that Gwent was in The Witcher. That's weird. And he says it's fun.
Yeah, well, they Final Fantasies have had this in their single player campaigns. What is it, Tetramaster, John? I think
No, Tetramaster's garbage. Triple Triad.
Triple
Yes,
Triad.
that,
There you go.
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Triple
No,
Triad.
Tetra Master is a Final Fantasy card game though. It's just the inferior.
It's
one.
just bad.
It has a good name though.
Genshin Impact seems like that's its wheelhouse, though, right? I mean, it's already a gotcha game with these treadmills. Like TCGs are the original loot box game. Why not throw that in there? I'm sure it's great,
Sure.
and I'm very happy for the Genshin Impactors out there. I think about sometimes playing that game, but I just, I don't know.
I will say
might
they
try.
put Triple Triad in Final Fantasy 14,
Yeah.
and having it in a different MMO like is actually cool. Like it's really neat to be out in the world doing your MMO business, and you see an NPC that's got cards over their head, and you go, "Oh, I can go play the card game against that NPC." And like sometimes it's thematic. Like there's a place where it is a imperial castrum, like a castle for the empire, and there's a imperial guard, and his name's like Board Imperial Guard or whatever, and you can play not Tetramaster, shit, now I'm doing it, Triple Triad against him, and when you do, all of his cards are imperial cards, which is kind of a neat little flavor, to plan around. Like that's how he built his deck, because of course he's in the Empire. He's part of their propaganda, so all his cards are like pro-Empire cards. And I think it's neat little world building stuff like that. I love it.
Okay. No, that's cool. I didn't know that was in there. The closest you get to WoW with that is just Hearthstone references. I just finished a quest line where a dragon ghost and a gnome played Hearthstone, and I had to help craft cards for them. It was fun. It was a fun quest line, but I didn't get to actually play, obviously. But it was
WoW
cool.
has the Pokemon battles.
Yeah,
right?
that's true. They do have that.
That's their version of it, is the pet battle system.
Although I haven't in these new zones, I haven't seen a single pet for battling. Have they stopped doing that? Because I haven't seen one. You know the little paw that shows
been
up?
a long time since I wowed.
I'll have to check. Anyway, I did like this. They're standing in front of this board, and their two characters are going, "Yeah, I'm going to beat you," and they're dancing around this Hearthstone board. But I zoomed in on it, and there's a little tiny Jaina on one side hurling firebolts across, and the other side's got a dragon doing the same thing back at her, and it was great. It was like a little Star Wars 3D chess, hollow chess thing. It was pretty cool. Anyway, moving on. Let's get to emails. We got emails. Hell yeah, we do.
That's a good question.
Here's one from, let's see. Sorry, the emails come to talktothecore@gmail.com, and this is happycore. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Jay-Z is his name. I'm reading
we got a
poorly.
message from Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z wrote in. He took some time away from Beyonce, and he had some things to say. Hello,
Nice.
barge, jet ski, and schooner. It's kind of a TMS thing. We make up names for me and Brian in the morning. Anyway, would love to hear what you guys think of this latest voyage by Congress into the sea of toxic gaming culture, and whether you think this might lead to any concrete changes. Thanks for steering this core class vessel towards interesting and inclusive waters. Happy Cora days, mateys. He really stuck with the maritime motif here. I like that a lot.
I wound up as a jet ski, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's not really a boat.
No.
I'm kind of the one that isn't a boat.
Yeah, you're the one that can get you killed if you're being dumb or drunk.
That's true about me in general.
Yeah, so be careful.
Yeah.
But you can forge the documents about the accident so that it looks like it all went well.
Yeah,
you've had
like
some
you got
experience.
all A's before you died.
So the story is Ars Technica is the article he linked to, but we talked about this on DTNS a little bit. U.S. lawmakers take aim at gaming's harassment and extremism problem. These are basically letters to companies complaining and asking what they're doing internally to combat said harassment / extremism. It will probably end up being some hearings. I don't know that anything's going to come out of it actionable, but I think they'll hold some hearings, and you'll have people like maybe even Bobby Kotick. Oh my Lord. But others, Phil Spencer, people like that may be called to Congress to testify and talk about what they're trying to do to.
I mean, yeah, this is like,
it's a little showy.
It's showy, but it's also, it's like how long can you possibly go before actually saying like, oh, this is something that's occurring? Like, I remember we had a free TeamSpeak server in like the early 2000s, and if people would just drop in randomly because we were too cheap to pay for it, and just drop N bombs. Like we're like, oh, I've got to switch TeamSpeak server. Can't play on this one. Like it, internet random voice. So if you're in a Call of Duty lobby, I'm assuming is going to be a big thing on this one. I'm sure game developers don't need Congress to want players to have good experience and solve this. The problem is you can't have random communications without there being either a kid to have his jollies or some jerk to ruin it. Like it's the only way to do it is to switch it off. But people want to be able to speak to people on the phone. Like what are they gonna do? Yes, reporting tools are available, but these people just move on to other games. And there's 8 billion people in the world. Not that you're matched up with all 8 billion, but there's a lot of people in each geographic region. Like, it seems just. I guess you don't want them to do nothing, but it's like you get into the business of just wanting to make cool video games for people, and all of a sudden you're policing the Earth's behavior, Big Brother style, and you're like, we don't want to do this. Like, that's why it's like online, not rated. It's like any other chat room. I mean, why not Discord, right? Or why not? There's places I can go. I can just hop into voice with someone I don't know. There's chat roulette.
Why not forums from the mid-aughts? Like, it's all.
Yeah, so I mean, it's such an out of touch thing where it's like, let's blame the game developers because they're the carrier, and traditional thought is, well, the carrier is responsible for what's happening over their service. But it's like, it's the internet. Everyone's connected to everyone. And we gotta see their bullshit. Like Twitter's turned into Elon Musk's personal subreddit. I can't help but know what's going on because it's constantly in my face when I use that service. But I don't. If I could choose, I would just be like, please stop. If I could control human behavior, I'd tell all the people I follow to stop retweeting and discussing it, so I don't have to see it. Like, what am I? And blocking is not that effective. Like, we can't solve it if we're all going to be connected all the time. Then we gotta we're going to get exposed to this stuff. So if it's for minors, then I say just don't give them access. That's the only way you're going to solve it. And then for adults, like it's
yeah.
Like they have to do something, like obviously act on reports, but like there's a limit to what they can really get done is what I'm trying to say.
Well, here's what they're actually asking, and it may help inform that. So these lawmakers, they include Lori Fenton from Massachusetts, Katie Porter from California, Ron Wyden from Oregon. These are the three doing it. Are asking for more information on how reports like toxicity and harassment reports are handled, what data is collected regarding them, and whether the companies have safety measures pertaining to anti-harassment and anti-extremism. That last bit, I think, fits perfectly with what you're saying, and I am as skeptical as ever about how they can actually do any of this. But here's who they sent them to: Activision Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Epic, Microsoft, PUBG, Corp. I guess that's a company now. That's weird. Riot Games, Roblox, Sony, Square, Take-Two Interactive, Tencent, Ubisoft, and Valve. Nintendo is notably missing from the list. Also, their internet stuff sucks.
They don't have a lot of online interaction stuff, right?
No, they don't, because it all sucks.
Yeah, like they already kind of limit it, and I think that kind of maybe even goes into what Bo's saying is like, sure, you put the walls up high enough, you limit people enough, and like you'll eventually get sort of there, but is that what people actually want? Is that what the people playing want? Like, it's hard to say because obviously harassment and all that stuff's bad, but like at the same time, at a certain point, when is the solution like also not what you want?
Yeah.
So I don't know how.
Well said.
I don't know how you do it.
Yeah,
different solutions for different situations. Like a one size fits all doesn't work. So it's just like turn everyone's volume lower. People go somewhere else where everyone's volume's high if that's what they want. But some people don't want that. So different, you know what I mean? Like I think most of the people who play Call of Duty realize that that's part of the environment and still play anyways. They don't, it's not welcoming, I guess. And there's dangers there if underage people are exposed to things that their parents would like them not to be, or even criminal in a lot of places. But it's just a turn off on thing, I think, for the most part. Like
there's some irony here too, because like they didn't include Namco Bandai, Sega, Capcom, Nexon. Like a bunch of companies didn't get included, but one of them in particular is the American-based Warner Brothers Interactive, who publishes Mortal Kombat. They're not going. It's just funny to see this shift. We're not going after the Mortal Kombat publisher anymore because Mortal Kombat is so violent and horrible. We're now skipping them because they don't really have the online harassment problem, right? I don't know why I find that ironic, but I do.
Well, I mean, the video games were the whipping boy for gun violence forever.
Yeah.
Now
Fighting game fans can be just as toxic. I know because we have talked to some people that are over there, work on Mortal Kombat, and I can tell you, I was having a completely unrelated conversation one time with Tyler over there. And all of a sudden, somebody just jumped in and was like, if you change this about Noob Saibot, you can kill yourself. It's like, we're not even talking about that. We're talking about Heroes of the Storm. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like, they just, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's, it doesn't make it okay. And it can sometimes seem like, oh, they're just hand waving it away. But it's a complicated issue. Yeah. And I think it requires a multifaceted solution. I don't necessarily have a lot of hope that this is the way to go. But I guess good that they're talking about it.
Yeah. Let them talk about it.
That's been a problem since the birth of the internet. They're finally talking about. But
I think gaming is being made a bit of a scapegoat because there are way more dangerous just websites and communication places that are attacking. Kiwi Farms is a big one. We're going to talk about this stuff on the show, but like targeting trans people for people celebrating the death of those that trigger warning. I guess just that have unalived themselves, and like there's way worse pits of shit than what happens on a Call of Duty match out there on the internet. Like just look at January 6th. Business.
Constant. There's so many examples.
It's almost like let's investigate video games. It's like, why don't you investigate some actual shitty websites? And like the games are shitty and criminal stuff has happened, like in terms of especially with children getting involved. So it is worth investigating, but it just seems like I don't know.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's I think it's fine if they get talking about it, and we'll see what comes of it. I do think it's weird that, I guess, I don't know, whatever. They're just, like all that other stuff gets tracked too. Like Steam in particular is being targeted because they got a ton of like Nazi bullshit that happens sometimes on their user boards, and they try to shut it down, but they're not very good at it. So they're talking to them in particular because the letter to them was very pointed about symbols, visuals, words, phrases associated with exposure to explicit, unambiguous neo-Nazism, anti-Semitism, gender-based violence, harassment, homophobia, other hateful stuff. So maybe there are points of light here where it's like, well, what's happening on Steam is really egregious, and even Steam wasn't aware of how bad it was or something. I don't know. So maybe there's something to suss out there. But I think blanketing the entire industry, like they sent a letter to the Among Us guys, which is like 5 people. And I guess the game's a big impact, and sure, people are dicks inside the game sometimes when you're playing randos, but I don't know why they got targeted and, other big companies didn't. So there's also an unevenness to this. So I don't know. At the end of the day,
it's a random phone call with people, and one of them might be a Nazi and a despicable human being, but it doesn't make it right. But it's just everyone's playing games. It's the nature of how do you, unless you're like hiring precogs or doing the 1984 thing and tagging people as like unsafe. So therefore they're not permitted. You know what I mean? Like it's like that rabbit hole. That's where that leads to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I just think you put protections in place for children, and adults have to be.
I think more
can be... a lot of people will turn off voice chat because they don't want to be exposed to it. As adults, you make your own adult decisions about what you want to be exposed to or not. But
yeah, I hope one thing that happens. The chat is saying this too, and I agree with it. I hope whatever this dialogue / discussion / hearings, whatever it is, I hope it includes as many female voices as possible, or voices in other typically targeted groups, trans people, the gay community, you know, where they're, you know, racism, this sort of stuff. Get them involved with what's actually happening. Because my experience is pretty simple. If I don't like what I'm hearing, I just get out of voice chat. It's not a big deal.
I mean,
Like,
they're
that's
not
how I see
concerned
it.
with bars, right? Like, it's possible for despicable people to visit the bar that you're visiting, and you're exposed to their ideas, and it's toxic, you know, and it
Yeah.
gets into fist fights even, and no one's like, "What's going on with these bars?" They're like, "Well, you went to a bar."
Yeah.
And like that's kind of like online gaming. You go to a public space and you don't know what you're gonna get, and people are. It doesn't. I'm not saying criminal activity is okay or hate crimes are okay, but it's just as a person wanting to go out and socialize, it's kind of the same thing as going to a club or a bar. Like you might meet an asshole that you know, like.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think they're gonna learn much, and they're just gonna, you know, it's a lot of reassurances and. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm
It's
afraid
just-
you're right about that. But
the only thing I really take seriously from that stuff is a lot of the predatory shit happens to kids online. You see stuff on Roblox and VR chat and other games you wouldn't even think of. Like I think even Call of Duty, I saw a headline like where pedophiles, SOs, despicable people, gross, are in those spaces, and they are like.
of course
That
they are.
is
They go where the
dangerous.
kids are. That's like, you know, it's today's version of the playground, and even more inconspicuous. You know, you're even more hidden
Yeah.
because you can go hide
We
out
had
in a Roblox
to we
room.
had to crack down on a lot of that stuff. Like, you know, when my stepkids were really just going hard on Roblox all the time and there weren't any sort of restrictions on it, I just noticed like things that would occasionally get said was like, that is not something that a child would say.
Yeah.
And that is not something that should be being echoed, and it caused some hurt feelings as we shut down Roblox for a while we figured out what we were going to do, and a lot of talks that I'm sure they didn't like having to be a part of. But you know, I think that's also a part of it. You have to be vigilant about what your kids are doing, and it sucks because it's hard to stay up on all that. I don't want to know about Roblox, but you know, sometimes that's important because like you guys said, that's where the predators have a
Yeah, that's
tendency
where
to
the predators
go,
go.
unfortunately.
Predators go where kids are.
And they can take advantage of parents' ignorance
Yeah.
in that sense.
Mhm.
And you know, the
I
amount of
almost got
times we've had to
predatored.
have the conversation of you don't know how easy it is to glean information off of what seems like casual conversation,
Yeah.
and had to do that and had to protect from that. It's rough.
But
Not
what'd you
fun.
say? You said you were almost
Oh,
predator.
I almost got predatored. Yeah, like a couple rolled up in a car and invited me to inn near my house. And
When?
like
Well, that's not
thinking,
predator. That's
I was
wanted
like
you to swing with them, right?
I was like 8. No, I was like 8
Oh,
or
you were
9.
a
Like
kid.
a
Oh,
kid.
oh, you were a kid. This wasn't
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yesterday.
They were totally like, hop in the car, let's go, and like they offered me candy and shit. Like
Really?
it literally happened to me. Yeah, and
Damn.
good thing I watched a lot of GI Joe, Transformers, all the lessons at the end. Parents saying to their kids like, if you see a stranger, say no and run away, because. I ran home and we called told my mom and they called the cops and all that. I don't remember what happened, but I have a very distinct memory, even at a young age, because it's traumatizing. I knew they
I
were there.
really
to steal
thought
me
about
away,
it, but
like-
those GI Joe PSAs probably are valuable. There's going to be some situations like this where kids, that's where they're hearing the cautions, and then they remember it, and then they, like, we all make fun of it, but
yeah,
that
it's useful.
it's useful. Yeah.
Back in those
nearly
days, it was the
lost
white
my
vans.
mind.
Yeah, white
Like
vans.
not to just constantly be on about my kids, but like when I was first in the picture, like we were at the apartment and I'm driving home from picking up food, and my two stepkids are sitting like standing right next to the open back end of a vehicle talking to a stranger. I have no idea who it is.
Oh, jeez.
Because they had a dog. That's all it took for them to be like, they're like, can we pet your dog? Went right over to the car and was like, I got out. What you guys doing?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
What
No,
sucks
this
is
is
he
not
was-
okay.
What sucks is he was probably a totally normal, nice guy that had a dog, but it doesn't matter. These situations are just like too fraught, man.
Yeah.
I hate it. Oh
Yeah,
man, I
It's the
hate
same
it.
with chat rooms. Like I don't experience a lot of that in any of the games I play, but every now and then, there's a really terrible, despicable person.
Yeah.
I'm not in any way targeted. I'm not a woman, so no one focuses on that. I'm not, don't identify as any, I'm a straight white male. Like I'm the least targeted out of
Yeah.
anybody at this point, so I have that privilege, but like
I think
there's
all three
still
of us
a lot
do.
of danger
Yeah.
out there for people.
I agree. And I guess to sum it up, I do hope that they include a bunch of voices that aren't just these game companies and aren't just gamers that are dudes. I'd like to see a little more diversity there if they're going to have a real conversation about it. I still wonder if that'll even happen, but let's move on. We got a quick text here from Cyrenex. Always good to hear from Cyrenex, who says, hello, good sirs. I just wanted to give you the heads up that the PC edition of Demio just released today on Steam in 1.0 form and is 20% off until the 22nd. I should probably pick it up myself soon. Yours in this life and the next Cyrenex. I guess that's today. I bought the PC version when it first hit, so I've already got it. But the PC version, which is the non-VR version, is a very good version of that game, and it's cross-platform with anybody who's playing on VR, Steam or Quest or whatever. I think Demio
Gotta
is
get
cool.
back to it, Scott. We'll call Crofted up. He loves
Yeah.
playing that game.
Demio's
And John,
cool.
if you play the PC version, it's funny though, that pitch to people who aren't. So Mike isn't play VR, and John isn't into VR. And when you tell them, you want to come play a VR game with us, but you'll play it in flat screen, it's not the sales pitch that we think it is.
I was gonna
Like-
say, like you're telling me this, I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like I want to sit there and hear about how Jesus wept because you rolled a dice and it was immersive. Like who gives a
Yeah.
shit? Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sitting there staring at a monitor, doing everything a slightly harder way for your immersion's benefit, while
No,
you
it's
guys
the
are
easier
like,
way.
oh, it's so magical. I rolled the dice and it went down the hallway. It's like, oh my god, let's celebrate mediocrity a little harder here.
So you're right about everything except the harder part. It's definitely harder to play the game in 3D than it is on the desktop.
I
You will
agree.
have the
Yeah.
easier experience because you're like, did I pick up the dice? And you're zooming in and out.
Yeah, you crank your neck, and it's just it's an amazing immersive experience. You feel like you're playing a board game with your friends,
Yes.
but you will have a way more chill, like sit in your chair and flick your mouse kind of experience on the PC version.
It's like still fundamentally, it's a fun, challenging game that has unique mechanic. Like I still would say flat screen, it would be a compelling. Like it's a well done game.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it's really good.
So, but there are. Well, it's kind of one of a kind. There's no real board game like that. I think
It's pretty close to
it's
being unique.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It passes muster
I like it
as
quite a
a
bit.
standing on its own quality game. Honestly,
Yeah, I like it quite a bit. I think it's very good. And that makes me want to play it, so I will. Thank you for that. Those texts come to us at 801-471-0462. That's 801-471-0GOB. If you want to spell it out on your phone. Oh, people still do that. Anyway, hey, you guys, you know what time it is? It's time for a mashup. The end of year 2022 summed up in one more. We got two more. Me next week, but Bo is today. This is Bo's year compilation put together
I'm
by
a
Jamie.
little nervous. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, we're gonna get to revisit the lake story. I'm
Yep.
so excited.
And I know for a fact that another familiar voice
Look,
is
I
on this.
want to plug the pre-show a little bit because if you really like the shit in the lake stuff, there was some good talk on the pre-show. It's worth a sub. I know I'm biased, but it's actually worth a sub at least for a month.
Yeah, just
Throw
do a month.
$1 in and just listen to. We got some good content out of it today.
This will be the most educational of the mashups, I think.
Absolutely. So here it is. Without further
We'll
ado,
learn
thank
what
you.
Coke's made of.
Exactly. Jamie Brand put this together. As always, he did killer work. I haven't heard it yet, but I know he did. Here it is, Bo in 2022.
Bo Schwartz. When you need a hot take and the exact opposite take a few weeks later. When you didn't want to hear a ukulele, but also think it sounds nice. Bo is late most of the time. Orc massage comes up in conversation. A lot. Hates paying for subscription-based services unless absolutely necessary. His kitchen clock always reads 12. And there isn't a podcast he won't step away from to drop a juice. And while on the subject of the dropping of juices, let's hear some of his highest quality banter from the past year.
I'm the girl. I look down. There's my boobs and like all my utility belt, and I'm just like, holy shit! I'm a space nun. I had excrement-related problems this week too. I feel like, brother.
Do we want to know more or no?
Oh, I pissed my pants.
Whoa, what?
Yeah, well, I sat down to take a shit, and then I went to go for a pee, but, you know, my pecker was aimed out of the toilet bowl and peed into my pants, and I'm at work without a change of clothes, and I'm like, Frank! The smuggler's always like, smuggling's great, I got all this cash. Oh, I'm dead. That's every smuggling story. And then I'm stuck in a corner, and the big beefy guy is eating my chode. Or, no. They never actually say his name because he could have been Scott or Gerp or Chud Pounder 224969 or whatever.
Chud Pounder.
And,
that's a great name. Chud Pounder.
Like, it's not so bad when it's family. 'Cause at least, like, it's your mom's pee or something. You're like, whatever.
It's your mom's pee.
Strangers pee. Like, I don't.
It'd be okay if it was your mom's pee.
This is an India's shit game, and I hope if they're on the platinum list, like.
For the record, Bo said an indie shit game, not an Indian shit game.
Oh, sorry.
No, just for clarity, because if we
Why
get
did I say
emails,
indie shit game anyways? Like,
I don't remember why you
said
said it. I think you said they're not just making an indie shit game or something like that.
I don't think I meant to say indie shit games. If I said that, I'm also sorry.
Oh, maybe I
I'm not
remember
sure
it.
what the context.
Oh, indie as
maybe
shit.
I was trying to say something else.
I think you said indie as shit, and I heard Indian shit.
Oh, India shit. Okay. I had an infraction, but it didn't result in me going to jail.
Right. Like if you bite a girl on the neck too hard, she'll let you know.
I bit a boob too hard.
Oh, geez. Oh, man, I don't want to know any of this. Why do I know this
These
now?
things happen. As you learn how to do things properly, maybe there was the bite. It was but, you know.
Man,
It was an apology.
This
but
whole episode should be called Bo TMI.
Yeah, Bo
We're just
TMI.
learning so much today.
Damn.
Us dudes enjoy our homoeroticism of, you know, putting our testicles in each other's mouths as a rite of male passage. Like, what is it? Every fear hides a wish.
Yeah.
Right? We're all supposed to hate doing it, but secretly we want to eat those testicles, you know? Like,
The good news is there's a new skate game, Skate 4. People are excited about that. Are you all right? What
I
happened?
spilled my coffee. It's fucking sorry, it's a nut house in here today. I don't know what's going on. Be a good little top?
Tot.
Tots.
Oh, top, okay.
What'd you think, Todd? Is that your
Top.
name? Oh,
Top.
top.
Like, you know, BDSM talk. Like,
Oh, jeez.
Oh,
What?
gee, I was like,
Be a good little
like,
top.
like a spinning toy. But I was like, no, like bondage.
Oh, that's hilarious.
last time I went camping, I just had to go for a shit, and I was like, I guess I could just shit in the lake. Like, it's in the middle of nowhere. It's not like other people are around.
All I had to use was my weenus. That's all I had to use to make them. The egg
You
took
didn't,
off.
you didn't have to use anything else. You didn't have to move your testicles up, down, left, right, or anything like that to activate.
The Konami
Activate
testicle
that
code?
thing.
Oh, man.
It's been a while. I forget how it all works.
I did a tier ranking of all my favorite enterprises,
Yeah.
and it really got me in the mood to pilot a starship.
Did you
So
really? I love that you did that. Did you really do that?
I did do that. Yeah, I did.
Oh, that is
What
the
do
kind
you
of
think
stuff.
my favorite enterprise is? And it's not. I'll give you a disclaimer. It is based purely on look and aesthetic.
Okay.
I think it
Wait,
was
are we
tied
doing
with something
tier lists
else.
of the Enterprise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can we move on? This is real, like, super weed territory, right?
That was amazing.
Okay.
Another awesome Liam O'Brien intro. That was awesome.
You're really styling on us. Each intro is a different voice. Like,
Yeah, I don't know what next
Yeah.
week's going to be like.
I like
I know-
the way he said deuce.
Yeah.
You really leaned into it.
Yeah, deuce. And also,
Deuce.
I thought there was going to be nonstop poop in a lake, and all we got was you saying, I crapped in the lake and nobody was around. And then it just moved on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that probably helped you. You probably were like, oh, phew, I didn't have to.
I don't know. My mind's still reeling from Liam O'Brien's
I know.
intro.
Think of that. The great Liam O'Brien made an intro that talked all about you and their
I'm
stuff.
just thank you, and I'm honored you debased yourself to do an intro for whatever it was that followed it.
Yeah, I was
can't
gonna say, how does
chat
it
room's
feel? Because
really
now
into it.
you've joined my club, which is
I've
hearing
joined the
Liam
Jizz
O'Brien
Club.
and going, "Oh, Liam's talking about me," and then some stupid shit you said
Yeah.
immediately following.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
Yeah, but that's something
yeah.
that's just something
The
to treasure,
voice
man.
of Illidan, of whom I admired so much in Heroes of the Storm and listened to, said my name, which is an honor of itself,
Yeah.
and then knowingly introduced. He knows too much about me. It's that in Community when Troy meets LeVar Burton and then freezes up.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I think it's sort of torture. It's just like
wanted an
here's
autograph
someone you
picture.
admire,
Yeah.
and they know about all of your shitting and sex habits. There you go.
Yep.
That's
what it is.
If I ever meet him, it's gonna. I can't be like, "Hey, I'm Bo," and like most people, you're like, "I don't know anything about this person. It's time to make an impression." First, I've already made the impression.
Well,
Anyway,
those Critical Role people often go to BlizzCon. If we do a BlizzCon this year, maybe he'll be there. You get to meet him. That's where I always see him whenever I
tell you to
hook
set
up.
your oven clock.
That's right.
Yes, and what arcane knowledge did he know this?
Well, a lot of that stuff was given to him by Jamie as reminders. Like, here's all the stuff.
I
But
know
also,
he listens. He said
he
as
listens,
much
yeah.
on his show with Sam.
Yeah, he listens to this show, so a lot of that he knows, and I don't know if he wrote it himself. He didn't tell me, but he is one of the nicest humans on this planet.
I'm not used to fame. I really live in a bubble. I'm a schlub that works at a job, plays games, and somehow it's on the show once a week, and I love it. And the D&D show, and I love it.
Yeah,
But
it's good.
I'm really disconnected with any notion of fame or people knowing who I am sometimes, or
So
most of the
let's
time.
get you on Wikipedia, then we're all set. That's fantastic. All right, Jamie, Liam, everybody involved, that was amazing. Can't wait to hear how stupid I sound next week. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be epic.
In the meantime, I do want to remind people that we are sponsored by you at patreon.com/coreshow. It really does mean the world to us that so many of you have bellied up and decided to throw us a little bit of change.
Wait a second. People want to see my card.
Your card.
Yeah, Bo got a card.
Oh, what do you got? What is it?
A graphical card. A collectible card.
Oh, is it one you're putting up, or are you sending to me, or what are you doing?
No,
Taz the man worked
you already
on it.
shared it.
Oh,
yeah.
the badge. We call it a card. You think
Oh,
it's a
yeah, the
BlizzCon
badge. Duh, I have it right here. Let me put it up. There it is. There's Bo's badge. It does look like a card. It's like a TCG card. Look at him. You're all 90s and stuff in it.
I feel like I'm gonna. Well, I shouldn't say it.
I
but
like
I'm
that
gonna do
if you
something
compare
criminal.
this to mine, it just looks like I'm slowly, like the person, not me necessarily.
No, you look like
putting
the
on
police.
a greater and greater disguise.
You look like the police. Well, that's good too. You look like the police, and I look like the hacker criminal that you're chasing.
A little bit. I love it, though.
I wonder what Scott's gonna end up looking like.
Oh, dude, I'm nervous about that. I have no idea what he's doing, but he has also been sneak peeking something super rad to Zarakaz. If you guys haven't seen that,
Oh yeah, I have seen that.
I'm going to save it till we see it in its final form, but
Excited.
what the frick, dude? That guy, some kind of maniac. I love it.
Guy is putting in real hard work.
The real work. So, if you want to help us keep making cool stuff, that's the way to do it. Go to patreon.com/coreshow today and show us your love. You'll never get a commercial. You get pre-show content every week, like Bo mentioned, monthly benefits that are only yours by being a patron. That's going to do it for us. John, be an old lady and tell us what we played.
Well, let's see how this voice holds up under illness.
Duress.
Hello. So it's fine. We'll make our way through it, I guess. If you don't know what games the boys played, I'm here to tell you what they was. Scott played the World of Warcraft, that new Dragonflight expansion, and he pissed off all the Guild Wars fans. So if you like Guild Wars 2, write your angry emails to Scott. He also played High on Life. That's the Rick and Morty-like game. And John played the Vampire Survivors DLC. And then he's also, it's Final Fantasy Fortnite Midnight Suns. Broken record, John, moving on. Bo also played Midnight Suns in an effort to continue to convince Scott that it's a really good game that he should play. It's worth his time. He's not doing it. Lazy ass. And he also played Ben Broad's Snap, as he put it.
Yeah. Nice. You did it. You covered them all. Those are all the games we played. Don't ever complain that we don't tell you, because we just did.
Yep, that's all of them.
That'll do it for us. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back one more time. Between now and then, have a fantastic, happy, Merry Christmas. We'll see you guys next week. Bye, everyone.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network. Yes. Get more at frogpants.com.
Calm down. What the hell?
Yeah, dude.